All right, we are live. Yeah, we're live. Let's just double check. I need to open this. Yes, make sure. All right. Another day, another stream. We're at it again. 2 in a row. That's pretty good for me right now of late. So, I'll check out some of the crazy stuff that's happening online. You know how it is. Mostly chaotic. Just like the house. I think we're good on audio. I'll just double check it. Make sure we're still good on audio. Yeah, I'll take a piece. Okay, yep. I can hear myself. Cool. Not too quiet. Oh no. Now it's ice that we got to worry about. Great. Ice, baby. What is going on? Why does it always turn down my microphone volume? Okay. What's this one?
Ladies and gentlemen,
okay.
One of the single largest cartel bosses in all of Mexico, a guy named El Mencho, is what they call him, who was in charge of a very deadly narco-trafficking cartel named CJNG, was taken out by the Mexican military. He was taken out. However, what no one seems to be talking about here is the fact that this is all part of one of President Trump's much larger master plans. This plan, in fact, over a year in the making, because folks,
I believe it.
I've got some background information pertaining to this entire story that ultimately led up to this situation that is frankly going to absolutely blow your mind for those of you that have not heard this news. And also, as a little bit of a spoiler here, as far as these Mexican cartels go, President Trump is just getting started. This is not the end of it. What you're seeing here is only the beginning. Now, let's talk about this individual. This is the leader of Mexico's CJNG cartel. His name is El Mencho. He was taken out yesterday by the Mexican army. But we also got some additional information here shortly thereafter. The U.S. government confirmed that it was the U.S. government that actually provided intelligence to the Mexican government.
We didn't have boots on the ground, though, I don't think.
Was then used to eliminate El Mencho. So the only reason the Mexican government was able to pull this off is because of U.S. intelligence. And we know this is true because earlier today, press secretary of the White House, Trump's press secretary, Carolyn Leavitt, we all love her, posted this on the timeline. She said, the United States provided intelligence support to the Mexican government in order to assist with an operation in Talpapa, Jalisco, Mexico, in which Nemesio El Mencho, Oseguera Cervantes, El Mencho, an infamous drug lord and leader within the Jalisco New Generation cartel, was eliminated. El Mencho was a top target for the Mexican and United States government as one of the top traffickers of fentanyl into our homeland, the United States. He was the top fentanyl trafficker. His cartel. This is a big deal. What is going on for last year?
Pablo Escobar.
President Trump rightfully designated the Jalisco New Generation cartel as a foreign terrorist organization, an FTO, because that's exactly what it is. In this operation, 3 additional cartel members were taken out, 3 were wounded, and 2 were arrested. Good.
Should I just take the whole bag?
President Trump has been very clear. The United States will ensure, excuse me,
this will be enough.
The United States will ensure narco-terrorists sending deadly drugs into our homeland are forced to face the wrath of
making a mess on the floor, kiddo.
that they have long deserved. the wrath of justice. And that is exactly what El Mencho received yesterday. The Trump administration also commends and thanks the Mexican military for their cooperation and a successful execution of this operation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, following this hit, this dispensing of justice on El Mencho, Mexico broke into flames. Before I show you what that looks like, I want to show you this. Look at the yellow territory. We're looking at yellow. This is a map of Mexico. Yellow territory right here, kind of in the middle along the coastline down here to the south. This is the territory that was sort of lorded over by the CJNG cartel. Everything in the yellow. So that's a lot of land. In fact, the amount of land in Mexico that El Mencho and his cartel, CJNG, sort of governed over in a weird way. It's actually about the size of the U.S. state of Utah for sort of a size approximation. It's a lot of land. It's a big chunk of land. Now, you can't help but notice this is a map of Mexico. What do you notice here? Literally, the entire country is controlled by cartels. Every single inch of this country has cartel leadership.
I'm surprised we didn't take care of the ones closer to the border.
In the yellow, or the Sonora cartel, or the Chihuahua, or the Coahuila, or the Durango, whatever, Guerrero.
The Chihuahua.
This entire country is owned and operated by the cartel. We have a massive cartel operated nation just on our southern border. This is terrible. And so, like I said, after this dispensing of justice yesterday was given out, was dished out, El Mencho was taken out, the country broke out into chaos. The Cartel de Jalisco Nueva Generation, CJNG, fielded weapons and gear rivaling some armies, armored vehicles, tactical equipment, modern rifles.
Some African armies don't even have this gear.
Looks like these cartels, they are kitted out. They've got the gear. They have armored vehicles. They've got Jeeps and Humvees and body
a little rigged,
armor
but yeah,
and, I guess fully automatic rifles. They've got drones.
Yeah, and
in fact, I was reading that this cartel.
I heard that people were saying that they bought those guns from us. If they're fully automatic, you can't buy them off of a retailer. So those were procured illegally through illegal military black market operations.
CJNG actually did recently some training in Ukraine. They met up with I don't know who in Ukraine to learn how to efficiently use drones in a combat environment that then they can use back home in Mexico. So these people, they have money, they have equipment, they are prepared. And now, following what happened yesterday, we saw this cartel, the CJNG, they raided and took control of a hospital in Guadalajara. They took over the Guadalajara airport. They were indiscriminately killing random people. They blew up over 130 random vehicles on the roads to try to stop traffic. They killed over 25 Mexican National Guardsmen yesterday.
That was sad.
In response,
I saw those pictures.
They also raided a Mexican National Guards base where they killed all of the guardsmen therein, around 25 in total. So there was a backlash of violence that took place in Mexico yesterday. And it seems like that is continuing on into today as well. Absolute
I haven't really
chaos.
seen much on X.
There's something I'd like to remind you all. This was 7 weeks ago, shortly following
people
the
making
apprehension
fun
of
of
Maduro.
Gavin Newsom for being stupid.
President Trump, our great president, called into Fox News and he said something very curious about Mexico. Claudia Sheinbaum in Mexico, the president, El Presidente Sheinbaum. Take a listen to what Trump had to say 7 weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't meant to be, and we're very friendly with her. She's a good woman, but the cartels are running Mexico. She's not running Mexico. The cartels are running Mexico. And we could be politically correct and be nice.
I remember hearing this weeks ago.
No, she's very, she's very frightened of the cartels. They're running Mexico, and I've asked her numerous times, would you like us to take out the cartels? No, Mr. President. No, please. So we have to do something because we lost. The real number is 300,000 people, in my opinion. They like to say 100,000. 100,000 is a lot of people, but the real number is 300,000 people. And we lost it to drugs, and they come in through the southern border, mostly the southern border. Plenty come in through Canada, too, by the way, in case you don't know.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is just 7 weeks ago. President Trump saying in the first half of this clip here, he said that, listen, the cartels are in control of Mexico. El Presidente Claudia Sheinbaum, she's not calling the shots. She might have the title of Presidente, whatever that means, but listen, she is not running the country. It's not this is a narco cartel terror state is what this is. The cartels are calling the shots, and I think we all saw that yesterday afternoon when they were running amok, blowing things up and killing people indiscriminately. Nothing anybody could do about it. Now, turns out President Trump was totally right. Not surprising to any of us here. There's something I want to tell you, though. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where the broadcast gets a little bit curious. Because like I said earlier on, all of this actually is a part of President Trump's larger plan. I want to break down exactly what I mean by that. First off, news report I need to share with all of you. 10 days ago, less than 2 weeks ago, the Mexican Senate voted to allow U.S. Special Forces into the country for training purposes. And of course, after passing through the Mexican Senate, El Presidente Claudia Sheinbaum signed off on this decision as well. She was on board with it. For the first time, U.S. Special Forces were authorized 10 days ago to conduct training exercises in Mexico. And now, 10 days later, yesterday, El Mencho, the untouchable cartel boss, was taken out by the Mexican military in conjunction with who? U.S. intelligence. Yeah. The U.S. gave intelligence to the Mexican military. They took this guy out. They wouldn't have been able to find him without it. Everybody said El Mencho, maybe the number one cartel boss in the country. In Mexico, they said he was untouchable. Nobody can touch this guy. Well, we touched him yesterday. Now we sent him down to hell. And so now, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to put all this into perspective, folks. In just the last 2 weeks, in just the last 2 months, we have seen the Venezuelan dictator and narco kingpin Nicolas Maduro get apprehended by U.S. Special Forces. And I haven't heard anything on that case yet. I know he's in New York, sitting in a cell, but are they moving forward with like proceedings or what goes on there since he's like, not from our country? Back to the United States to face criminal justice. Shortly thereafter, about a week later, we saw Colombian president and cocaine kingpin Gustavo Petro essentially publicly beg President Trump. He begged President Trump not to give him that very Maduro treatment. Because Trump was talking about coming for Petro next. Petro said, no problem. We're all good. Let's work this out. We're all good now. And now, as of yesterday, we've seen Mexico's largest fentanyl trafficking cartel boss, El Mencho, the untouchable El Mencho, gets sent down to hell. And so you need to consider. I think they were definitely trying to capture him, though. They weren't trying to kill him. There's something going on behind the scenes. In case capture him, there's less of a revolt from the cartels. For over a year now, the Trump administration has been placing constant pressure on the Mexican government. Some of this we've actually seen publicly to get a grip on the cartel situation. Because of this pressure, the Mexican government is effectively now working with the United States. A new deal has been struck behind the scenes. The U.S. is going to provide intelligence and even sometimes kinetic support, meaning bombs or missiles or whatever, to help crush the cartels. Whilst also, here's the exchange, offering Mexican government officials, the Mexican political leadership, protection from retaliatory attacks from the cartels. So to be very clear, this is the deal. Mexico, very quietly, the Mexican government has said, okay, we're going to accept your help. But if we do that, if we actually sign on board to help shut down these cartels, to allow the cartels to be shut down, we're going to sign off on that. But when that happens, you need to help protect us from retaliatory attacks from those cartels. That deal has been struck. Sign that earlier. That is what is happening right now in Mexico. Publicly, the Mexican leadership, they're going to maintain their hyper-independent, almost anti-American rhetoric, puffing up their chest. We don't like President Trump. We don't need any American help. That's how they're going to behave the Democrats publicly. In fact, you actually see that last night and today. ironically enough. However,
in what?
privately,
I didn't see anything.
What they're going to do is work deeply, in fact,
I haven't seen anything
with the United States
yesterday.
and the Trump administration to begin
Today's feed is full of
systematically destroying the cartels.
Jokes
and we saw perhaps step one of that take place yesterday. Okay? That is what's going on right now. Now, if this plan has been, let's try to make sense of this. If this plan has been secretly developed and implemented behind the scenes for the last year or so, if these negotiations have been taking place and now they're going into effect.
I'd take another piece if you're getting more.
Here's a good question.
Okay, yeah, I'll have another piece.
What sort of behavior would we expect to have seen from President Trump, the Trump administration, up here in our own country over the last year? If all of this really has been going on, well,
Savannah's pack and play. You're just borrowing.
And the Democrats allowed 25 million totally unvetted illegal aliens into our country between 2021 and 2025. Thousands or perhaps tens of thousands of which are literally cartel members. So, if Trump has been working out a deal with the Mexican government to destroy the cartels, here's what we would expect to see. We would expect to see the Trump administration crack down on cartel members up here in the USA over the last year so that they wouldn't be able to stage any sort of retaliatory attack on U.S. soil. That's what makes sense to me, at least. Okay, well, has that happened over the last year? Of course, obviously, yes, absolutely, yes. Over the last 12 months, what we've seen is tens of thousands of violent, criminally delinquent cartel member illegal aliens get arrested, detained, and deported. That is what Trump has been doing. That's been his focus for the last 12 or 13 months. So when you consider the totality of circumstances here, we can all absolutely bet, I think it's a safe
kind of why you don't want to hold them here. The more expensive to hold them
with the cartels
than it is to just send them back.
A highly premeditated plan coming from the Trump administration. And I'll tell you what, as far as I'm concerned, this type of plan, taking out the cartels down in Mexico, ripping out the cartel illegal aliens that we have in our own country, no thanks to the Democrats, all of this step by step is all part of a highly premeditated, step-by-step domino effect plan, longitudinal plan that has been sort of composed. Trump is the composer of all of this, piecing it together and then implementing it now. We saw the first step of that yesterday. And you know what? I'll tell you what, that is exactly the type of thing that we need to see if we truly want to put
take my hand off my mouse. Might accidentally click the X too early. Yeah.
The video's right now coming.
Refresh this, make sure nothing crazy new came up. Okay, Max Afterburner's live. They got exposed. Timcast is going live at 8. New Yorkers enraged. I have that pulled up somewhere. Islam is false. We know that. Pokemon in real life. Nat Geo Swampert versus Texture Fury of the. Yeah, we're saving this. Save to the playlist. I think I have it under mythology. New tariff deal. Former UK ambassador to USP or Mendelssohn arrested. Sheesh. I hope some arrests do come out of this Epstein stuff, but it's hard to pin anybody on, like, you know, association. You can't do that because you associated with him or was on his island doesn't necessarily you did anything bad. I mean, you could have, you very well could have, but doesn't always necessarily mean that it's somebody's wrong. Did I pull this open? Open this in the new tab. Okay, that's at the end. Want to watch that, but let's watch this real quick. That volume down. Holy cow! He's got a beard on him. Sorry, I had to punch you guys. No worries, though. It's good. Oh, man. I have to get my sugar checked after this week. Mm-hmm. Oops. Yeah, got some stuff. He's a speedy old man. Good job. Not if he backs that way, so. Okay. Go back. There was something cool I thought I saw, but maybe I'm missing it. No. Oh, that'd be cool. Ooh, I got it. Hmm. Top 10 katana fights. I think it's so cool. Shaolin Master.
Out of Mexico are shocking and terrifying. People at airports as terror attacks ring out across the country in response to the killing of El Mencho, a
how
drug
crazy
cartel
Mexico's
leader. Now, according to numerous reports, this guy was responsible largely for the fentanyl that is flowing into the United States. And Donald Trump, of course,
Supposedly.
has been putting pressure on Mexico
Which
to
is great.
deal
Get
with
all
the
the
problem
fentanyl out of
the
there.
cartels.
Don't want
Anybody
any of
who's
it
paid
here.
attention knows the
Kills
cartels
too
are
many
basically
people.
de facto government in Mexico.
It's great for
Because
medical
they
purposes,
fund
but
politicians.
people
and
don't know how to
anybody who
use it
dares
properly.
Speak up against them finds their lives
Doesn't
cut
take much to kill
short.
somebody.
But now, in response for this killing, revenge against tourist hotspots. It would seem the action is being taken to punish the Mexican economy, basically saying, if you cross us, we will hit you where it hurts. Now, the sad thing for the Mexican cartels is that they can't hit Donald Trump. Now, this was, as much as they're going to call a Mexican
I could send an
operation,
assassin in.
this
but
was a U.S. operation. I mean, it wasn't literally. The
U.S.
United States
forces
reportedly gave key information to Mexico and
carried out
pressured
the
them to
attack.
make these moves to take out these cartels. And Donald Trump is saying it's time for more. The fear then is that there's going to be more violence erupting, despite the fact that right now Mexico is saying
what
everything is
happens
under
when you let
control.
cartels run
They've
rampant
stopped
for
the
years and
violence.
years and years.
The expectation is that Trump wants more decisive action. Today, he met with families who lost their children and loved ones through illegal immigrants,
Thank you for the
drug
follow,
smuggling,
Lucas.
or
Much
other violence.
appreciated.
And here we are today. Donald Trump's not backing down. With the boat strikes in the Caribbean and even now in the Pacific, Trump has made it clear he's not going to tolerate this trafficking.
You're welcome to stay and
human
hang out.
trafficking. The
Just
border
lurk and
is
no reason to
being
chat.
controlled. So
Just
who's
hanging
really
out for the
mad
night.
about all this? Well, there are many people making the argument that this is just making the violence worse. For the most part, Trump's doing the right thing. Interestingly, in the raid, they uncovered rocket launchers, and now people are questioning just what
Sheesh.
was
Where are they
Barack
getting
Obama
that from?
doing with Operation Fast and Furious, where, I kid you not, the
No,
Obama administration
we
gave
didn't give them to them.
thousands of guns to the Mexican cartels.
You gotta be kidding.
It makes you wonder about their true intentions, and they call it one big accident.
They're just
I'm
trying to
not
create
sure
an
I
army
believe it,
for
my
Mexico.
friends. So let's jump
Or
into
a
the
rebellious
news and
army
see
from
exactly
Mexico
what's
then.
going on. The reports coming out of Mexico, absolutely crazy.
Crazy.
They are saying things have stabilized. Before we get started, my friends, head over to castbrew.com and pick up our latest Cast Brew Cold Brew Concentrate Vault Black.
Cool.
Only 150
Not sure I'm
bottles
into cold
remain
brews too much.
before this stock is out. It's cold brew. You put 50 milliliters, it's metric, I don't know, into a glass. You mix the rest with water. It's slightly sweetened. Put some cream in there, and you got a delicious cup of cold brew coffee. Check it out at castbrew.com. But don't forget, my friends, to smash that like button. Share this video with everyone you know if you do support the work that I'm doing. If everybody who watched right now shared this video, we'd have the biggest news show on the planet. If you like my work and you think I'm doing well enough, please consider helping by doing just that. And don't forget to subscribe. We got this report from Reuters. Visit by romantic partner led to El Mencho killing. 25 Mexican troops killed after raid as it happened. Check this out. Monday. We are wrapping up our coverage, says Reuters, of the fallout from Sunday's dramatic events in Mexico. Scheinbaum and two ministers disclosed fresh details about the operation that killed drug cartel boss Asaguera on Sunday and the violence that followed. Known as El Mencho, Asaguera was the mastermind of the powerful Jalisco New Generation cartel. Among the main Mexican criminal organizations involved in smuggling drugs, such as fentanyl to the U.S. Scheinbaum said
riddance.
order had now been
I
restored.
think they were just trying to capture
after
him, like I
cartel
said, though.
members
I
on
don't
Sunday
think they're trying to
reacted
kill him.
news
I think he just put
of
up too much of a
Mencho's demise
fight. They
by
had to.
blocking roads and burning vehicles and setting fire to supermarkets and other businesses in more than half a dozen states. At the same press conference in Mexico City, Security Minister Omar Garcia Harfuch said 25 members of the National Guard and one security guard had died in retaliatory cartel attacks.
So many National Guardsmen
Defense
died.
Secretary Ricardo Trevilla
I think it
broke
was
down
more
in
than
tears
25.
during the press conference as he offered his condolences to the family of the dead troops. Trevilla also revealed a startling detail about Sunday's operation targeting El Mencho. He said that information of the drug lord's whereabouts had come to light following a visit to him from his romantic partner. Garcia Harfuch said that 30 cartel operatives had also been killed during Sunday's widespread violence, as well as one bystander. At least 70 people were arrested in 7 states.
Oh, okay.
Trump weighed in on Truth Social,
should have been more,
saying that Mexico
that
needed to step up its actions against the drug cartels. He has been pressuring Sheinbaum for months. Both the Mexican and U.S. governments said the U.S. had provided intelligence for the raid targeting El Mencho. Sheinbaum said the planning and execution of the operation had been entirely carried out by Mexico. Now, here's what we know about the U.S. role, says Axios, with the killing of El Mencho. You can see buses set on fire. And these videos coming out of airports, they're absolutely insane.
Terrifying.
Mexican security forces killed Nemesio Ruben Asaguera Cervantes, the country's most wanted drug lord. Trump has for months pressed the Mexican officials to target drug cartels. And the U.S. had offered a reward of up to $15 million for information leading to the arrest.
He was worth a lot of money.
Asaguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho,
there's a rumor that some
who led the
streamer
Jalisco
got
New
the
Generation
reward.
Cartel, a designated terrorist organization in the United States.
For,
U.S. tourists were among those affected after violence erupted in multiple cities following the death of El Mencho,
but I'm not sure
which Mexico's defense ministry said on X occurred after the Mexican military came under attack while flying the detained cartel leader to Mexico City. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo urged residents via posts to her social media accounts to remain calm. And the U.S. Embassy in Mexico urged Americans to shelter in place in multiple states after images showed vehicles set on fire and smoke rising above beachfront hotels
sure they were looking for
in Puerto
Americans.
Vallarta, a Pacific coastal resort town. U.S. tourists were among those stranded in Puerto Vallarta as Air Canada announced it was canceling flights to and from the town's airport due to the ongoing security situation. Delta, American Airlines, and Alaskan Airlines reported cancellations and delays in the tourist hub. Sheinbaum noted that in most parts of the country, activities are proceeding normally. In Guadalajara, Jalisco's capital, and one of the 2026 World Cup host cities, gunfire was reported and armed men.
Yeah, this is going to be make it rough for the World Cup, huh?
Cartel members appeared to set a gas station alight in the city where CJNG was founded in 2009.
Never been a
the
soccer
USMC
fan,
noted in
but
its
I
online statement that roadblocks have impacted airline
an
operations,
actual shot to watch.
with some domestic and international
Don't
flights
have a team
canceled
or anything that I
in
know
both
about.
Guadalajara and Puerto Vallarta. All taxis and ride shares were suspended in Puerto Vallarta, and some businesses had suspended operations, according to the embassy. Mexico's military came under attack while transporting the 59-year-old El Mencho and returned fire. Security forces killed 4 cartel members and 3 others later died of their injuries, including El Mencho.
It was a crazy shootout.
Authorities detained 2 cartel members.
I'm sure they'll eventually release the footage too of what happened when they were going to make that arrest. I feel like Mexico always releases that footage.
Weaponry and armored vehicles,
whether it be like 5 years from now or a year from now, who knows? But
aircraft
it will be
and destroying armored
released
vehicles,
eventually.
The Post adds. A December 2024 post from the U.S. State Department announcing an increased reward for the arrest and or conviction of El Mencho described the leader as a fugitive. Now, this is interesting. Many people are wondering, what's up with these rocket launchers?
Yeah.
How do these people have military-grade weapons
to
this
50
degree?
cals.
And what is the U.S. doing to stop it? Take a look at this from the New York Post. Rocket launchers among military-grade equipment seized in raid that killed notorious Mexican
automatic
cartel
machine
leader
guns, which I said, there's no way they could buy them off the American proper market. It all had to be black market stuff or given to them by a government. There's no way they could get automatic weapons from the shop over in Texas, Just crazy people are trying to say that.
The reality is, my friends, these cartels are de facto governments. They are running the show in Mexico.
Bad guys will always get guns.
The government of Mexico
figure out a way
to these cartels, and they've got the means to do whatever they want. They have murdered mayors,
no matter how hard you make it for them,
who dared to speak out against them.
Yeah.
The New York Post reports rocket launchers capable of shooting down planes were among the arsenals seized by the Mexican military forces in the daring raid that killed notorious Jalisco New Generation cartel boss El Mencho. Special forces also seized armored cars and heavy weaponry, which are often used on the battlefield rather than in law enforcement missions.
Well, they can repurpose
His
for the
drug
Mexican army
kingpin
then.
Nemesio El Mencho Seguera
They just got a
Cervantes
little
was
more
killed
power.
in the resort town of Puerto Vallarta fell under siege.
More power.
Now, right now, we've got these crazy videos erupting of panic as tourists are trying to flee. Take a look at this image.
Yeah.
Most domestic and international flights were canceled at Puerto Vallarta Airport on Sunday. And I believe the likely reality here is the cartels are doing this to target major hubs of economic activity for Mexico. We have this video. Cartel retaliates. Let's play it now.
I get more ice. Thank you. Yeah, they're cold, but it just needs ice. I like them with ice sometimes. This was crazy. Eva.
Arson attacks, vehicle.
Yeah, put her eye drops in. Before you eat that. Trying to eat the plate. Come on, up here. Oh, the dead. Give her that plate now. Yeah, it's time. Yeah, Gabe can pull her out for me if she needs picked up. She's okay. She's trying to walk. She's been doing that all day. Yeah. Yeah, I still have my spoon, her spoon over here, so she'll be good. All right, we're
set
good.
on fire.
Get back to it.
A gas station set on fire. Looks like a Citgo.
They lit everything on fire.
People shouldn't have to live this way, man.
Stealing people's cars, parking them in the middle of the road for roadblocks, and lighting them on fire. Hey, give me a kiss. Is it grabbing? Hang on. I'm waiting for the kid to say goodnight to me. Whenever he wants to. Well, while we're waiting, thank you everybody for joining for the night. No pressure for anything. We're chilling, hanging out, watching some news updates and some other things. I don't know, a couple funny things to watch. New dinosaur was discovered, I guess, too. So there's some interesting things that I figured hang out, watch, and maybe play a game or two later on. Who knows, though? Usually I don't make it to the gaming part. I usually start falling asleep before I get to that. All right, give me a hug, kiss. Love you, buddy. All right. Back to the crazy.
Wow. Look at that.
The music doesn't help. Just makes it more dramatic.
Absolutely insane. These aren't the only videos that we have for you, my friends. It's absolutely insane. They say Asaguera Cervantes, the leader of one of the fastest growing criminal networks in Mexico, notorious for trafficking fentanyl, methamphetamine, and cocaine.
Yeah, they're taking the place of Escobar.
And staging brazen attacks against
Stepping
government
in
officials
for
who
him.
challenged it. People locked themselves in their homes in Guadalajara. They say school was canceled in several states. American tourists have now found themselves trapped in the country, witnessing what they've described as a war breaking out in the streets. Some people
like
are
a civil
calling this
war.
the start of what may be a civil war.
Yeah,
One vacation
I could see that.
was forced to evacuate his rented Airbnb in Puerto Vallarta, told Fox Digital how he woke up to the sound of blaring car horns and saw 6 vehicles completely engulfed in flames.
That's
Take a look at the
crazy.
scale of this
That's
violence.
a crazy sight to wake up
Baja
to.
California, major tourist spot. And then you can see basically everything. Tabasco. I like Tabasco sauce. It's delicious. Passengers at the airport operate with limited personnel. People are fleeing.
My mom used to put Tabasco sauce on my tongue when I was a younger kid. If I said something she didn't like or just got potty mouth with her or mouth off to her, she would put Tabasco sauce on my tongue. But I didn't tell her I liked it, so it wasn't an actual punishment. She just thought it was. And eventually, like a year, maybe or 2 later, I finally told her, like, Mom, it does nothing. I like Tabasco sauce. She's like, really?
Look at this. While no airports are closed, the majority of flights have been canceled, and roadblocks are impacting.
I don't really have a
operations.
tongue
Travelers
for
are seen on the runway.
hot stuff anymore, though.
Getting out on the tarmac and running. Take a
At
look
least
at
my
this.
stomach can't handle it, that's for
Bus
sure.
set on fire. We've got this as well. Holiday in hell. Tourists stranded in Mexico cartel war. Westerners plead for help as violence explodes across the country after drug lord is killed. Let's see if they may have the same video. We have this American tourist, Katie Holloman from El Dorado, took to Facebook to speak of her ordeal after she was told to
The
shelter
road to
in a
El
hotel
Dorado.
as it was safer than attempting a journey to the airport. Dan Smith from Palm Springs shared a shocking clip of what appeared to be him running down a staircase as alarms rang out in the background. Cartel burns down city. Let's play this clip for you guys.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wow.
More dramatic music. Babies. They're just playing. The baby's behind me in the pack I'm playing, so she starts getting upset, I'll have to hold her.
Crazy. We call this process pacification. We saw this in Brazil. So for those that aren't familiar with how Brazil works, beautiful country, Rio is just so awesome. But the poor people live in the hills. And these hills, they're called favelas. Basically means shanty town. Houses are built randomly. The poor people don't live on the beaches because the rich people do. And as the city was being established, poor people were forced into the hills, where it was difficult to climb up and find a place to live. Over a long period of time, they started building these shanty towns, whatever they had to build a house with. It's so bad that sometimes it'll rain, and the rain will be so intense, they will just crumble and fall.
Oh, geez.
Houses are built on top of houses. Some people have to walk through one person's house to get to their house. And there's the thing. The government largely ignored these for some time. And so about 15 or so years ago, they began the process of pacification. Because they ignored what was going on in these favelas, de facto governments emerged, and they called them gangs. But they weren't so much gangs as they were de facto government, the controlling violent force in the area that didn't want to be messed with. When the government decided they were going to take control of these areas, they went in and they started removing all of these gangs. And it was brutal. People were shot and killed in the streets. Well, this is what needs to happen now, unfortunately, in Mexico. The cartels are operating like de facto governments across the country. Politicians can't hold office unless they effectively pledge allegiance. Trump has said enough, but this is what's going to happen when you allow the cancer that is organized cartel violence. They're selling drugs. They're killing people. And now they're doing this. And you see this. Look, I talk about the cartels in the tourist towns and how you're probably safe as a tourist, but they're telling you right now, if their control is threatened, they will kill you and anybody who gets in their way. We got a lot more. Look at this. This is just more photos and videos we have coming out of Mexico of these burned out cars and tourists in panic. This could be the end for the tourism industry in Mexico, which would cost them billions of dollars. You've got Tijuana, fun city, right on the border, man. You're from San Diego, you drive on in. You got Cancun. You got Puerto Vallarta. But who's going to want to fly to a place like this now? The cartels basically said, if you don't let us
a lot
sell
of people
the
are
drugs,
canceling their flights,
we shut
actually.
you down. That's a terrifying reality because it seems like this is exactly what they have done. Mexican airport resort town under siege after the killing of this leader. I mean, look at these. We just got photos and videos like crazy. Here's the guy. I think we've got video, in fact, of the airport in chaos. I don't know if I have this one pulled up. Experts warn we'll come to that one. Check this one out. Panicked passengers run for their lives at Guadalajara Airport after the killing. Watch this video. This one's from the New York Post. We can get it going. Unmute that, get that sound.
Hey, lady. What's going on? Oh, I didn't. Yeah. Lady. Went out. Okay. Can't tell if she is or not. Okay, there. He's fine. Screaming.
You see that?
I guess.
Even the security, no, we don't want that video, whatever that is. Even the security guard was crouching down, taking cover because of how insane this is all getting.
It was
Experts chilling warning.
out of hand.
The killing of El Mencho sparks violence. We got more videos. I mean, check this stuff out. This is wild.
For sure it was out of hand.
Do we have any sound on this one? I don't think we do. No, this one's just got no sound. Drone footage. There's so much video. Here we go. What's this? Let's pull back.
Hey.
This is a long video, 5 minutes of all the chaos in Mexico.
Baby.
Looks like we'll get, we have some sound coming in. So here we go.
You can if you.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And this
Go
is,
up the
we
bag.
have this chilling warning. They say the death of its
Like a
most wanted
blanket.
man could trigger a total war in Mexico.
It's not down
America's
here
largest
then.
trading partner and most populous tourist destination. So we got the context so far. Security expert David Saucedo said the drug lord's killing could lead to a total war against the Mexican state.
Go up there.
This didn't seem to be just an operation to capture El Mencho, but to exterminate him, to
Playing
use
the
lethal
bedtime
force to
game.
bring him down. In the criminal underworld, such actions are not simply overlooked. The reaction is what we are seeing now: narco-terrorism blockades and fires in grocery stores.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too.
Scary.
But you know what's fascinating? As concerns
Very
erupt
crazy.
about the prospect of a civil war or whatever happens in Mexico, you once again have these naysayers saying it's not possible, it's never going to happen. So, you tell me, guys, for all of you guys that are listening and made it this far, comment now and let me know if you think this could erupt. I've seen the debate online, and my view is when you have de facto government basically telling the literal government no, using violence to this degree, why would they just go gentle into that good night?
Mm-hmm.
They have
won't.
millions of dollars. They sleep on piles of money. They control large swaths of Mexico. The seedy underbelly is not going to just give up. But Donald Trump is saying no.
I think she's ready.
Trump urges Mexico to step up efforts against cartels. And here's the argument. The death of El Mencho is not just phase one, or it's not a one-off. It may just be phase one. There you go. Correction. Trump is saying do more. Donald Trump on Monday called on Mexico to boost its efforts targeting drug cartels as widespread violence spread across the U.S. Donald Trump is saying do more. Do you think the cartels are simply going to say, I guess we're cooked? Or are they going to say, you ain't seen nothing yet?
Yep.
Considering the degree of violence that we've seen.
I'm good. He's just rambling now.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here.
Oh,
so this video is going to be a little bit off the cuff, but it
Let's see
relates
what
to a
he's
lot of things we
talking about.
talk about on this channel for reasons I'm going to explain right now. So at this point, it's pretty much inescapable. Whenever it comes to any medium, whether it's the entertainment industry or even the Winter Olympics, it always seems like politics somehow finds its way into it, even if it means people forcing it on social media. Now, what we're looking at today is an example of how easy it is to make people happy, to make the average normal person happy. You go out there and do the thing you're supposed to be doing without morally grandstanding or virtue signaling, and just doing your job and doing it well. And you might become a national treasure, just like Alyssa Liu, a 20-year-old who made a very big accomplishment. She is the first U.S. Olympic women's figure skater to win gold at the Winter Olympics in 24 years. Just 20 years old, an amazing accomplishment. And here's what I call the normal person reaction to this news. And on the left here, you can see also that the United States won the golds in hockey as well. So look at this. I keep hearing she's woke. Don't care. No idea what his politics are. Don't care. They both love America. The end. That is the normal person reaction to the situation. And because of the explosion in popularity surrounding Alyssa here, she's going to be the main focus. My reaction to her, or whatever her political beliefs might be, I don't care. I literally don't care. Unless she is like some crazy Antifa person going around trying to throw like tear gas at agents or something. I don't think that's the case. Otherwise, I don't care. I don't care who she voted for. I don't care if she's even woke. I really don't care. All she did was excel at the top level, earn gold for her country, an amazing accomplishment, while proudly wearing the United States flag, proudly representing her country, and graciously accepting it without making it all about herself or some agenda or trying to virtue signal or anything like that. And now she's some national treasure. It's really that easy. Now people are trying to politicize her in every single direction, but mainly people are trying to claim she's some woke person that you're not allowed to like. If you don't like woke things, well, you've been played. She's playing you right now, and you're stupid for celebrating her achievements, which is totally ridiculous. And we'll see the stretches and the complete detachment from reality some of these social media users are going to display. Let's start off with some of the lighter hearted stuff, right? There's a lot of memes going around like this because people think she's a little quirky, she's a little charismatic, and people think she's cute and see stuff like this. When she finds out you're a racist and unemployed, 12,000 likes on this post. XQC making fun of her hair, saying how to live your life on terms set by you, brother.
Weirdo.
I know XQC's not making fun of her hairstyle or anyone's hairstyle. Seriously, dude, get real. This person says, all a man need is an ugly, normal girl with raccoon hair like this. There's a lot of posts like this that I am 100% convinced are rage bait. This person is rage baiting. They're trying to get people upset, but I'm going to do it anyways. Hey, man, leave her alone, okay? But there are legitimately deranged posts involving this poor girl. This person said, Alyssa Liu is 20. Some of you are being effing weird. And someone says, so a fully grown adult woman then? And the original poster says, found one. And then the other person says, found what? Someone attracted to adult women? Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we've been through the gambit on this channel. We've seen people get called weird or predators for like hairstyles or outfits or like the size of their nose. We've seen everything at this point. So I'm not surprised that people are saying it's weird to think that a 20-year-old is attractive or something like that. But let's get to the political aspect. I think this post is a great starting point for the absolute delusions, the mental gymnastics people are playing in the situation. On the Gaming Circle Jerk subreddit, whose existence I only know because the only time I see it is when they're seething about me, they have this caption, anti-gamers for the win, hashtag we are the woke, hashtag F gamers. And they have this caption saying you just lost to the woke agenda featuring Alyssa Liu. And this has 15,000 upvotes. I mean, genuinely, like, this is Arkham Asylum behavior. Okay, it's Reddit. I genuinely believe their intent is true. Like, this is not ironic. They believe this stuff. I've seen enough of Reddit to really believe that. These people are absolutely deranged. And look on Twitter. This post kills me. People are trying to create identities for this woman without her consent, without any sort of proof. They're just assuming things based on the way she looks. This person says, I need to apologize to gold medal winning ice skating champion Alyssa Liu. I've been using she/her pronouns. I was not aware Alyssa prefers they, them. I'll do better going forward, and I'm sorry for making assumptions. Also, my daughter is absolutely obsessed with them, and I expect the hairstyle to catch on. Are you ready for the community note? U.S. figure skating lists her pronouns as she, her. This absolute Karen, this delusional Karen, is just making up a headcanon of what she wants this person to be based on how she looks. She looks at the hairstyle of this woman and assumes she must be a they, them.
Make up their own
against her wishes, clearly, because if that's what she wanted, she would not have been listed as she, her in the actual skating list. Insane. Then we have actual communist apologists coming in here saying without the Communist Party of China, there would be no Alyssa Liu and no gold for America. Let that sink in. So let me explain. I mean, you already know this is insane, right? But let me explain the history here. Her father is a legal political refugee who came from China to the United States because he participated in the 1988 Tiananmen Square protests. He came to this country legally as a political refugee. And now these psychos are trying to say that communism was good here and that we should be thanking communism because now the United States has a gold in ice skating.
Smacked my hair, bro.
What can you say, ladies and gentlemen?
Where is my hair, bro?
Then you have people like this trying to create a rift here, saying that Alyssa went to pro-Palestinian protests, and if she didn't win gold, Republicans would be calling her a terrorist. I'm pretty sure someone's allowed to go to protests if they want. This may blow the minds of people like this who are eternally online, but people can disagree on things, or people can go protest things and still get along and not want to, like, I don't know, end each other, right? And you can see people celebrating her down here with quotes like this saying, so confused by right-wing accounts trying to claim her as if she isn't clearly a woke bisexual Zoomer. Again, all assumptions, but these people just don't get it. They literally don't understand that, as pointed out here, the reason the left can't comprehend why we don't hate this girl is because if she was MAGA, they'd be sending her death threats. Exactly. 100%. If she came out and people found tweets of her or something where she was a conservative or like she voted for Trump or something, all these people who are trying to say she's like this woke queen or whatever, they'd be sending her death threats. But the opposite side, what we're dealing with here is claims that she's liberal or woke or whatever. And nobody cares. Literally nobody cares. People are just happy she represented her country proudly and took home a gold. Nobody cares. That's the difference. But if it was reversed, as pointed out here, there would be a very different result. A very different result. Very different response. I think this post right here from Reddit, a good post from Reddit, I cannot believe this. A good post from Reddit describes everything perfectly, okay? The Alyssa Liu discourse perfectly captures what's wrong with modern progressivism. For anyone who didn't know, Alyssa Liu won gold in US figure skating. She has received overwhelming praise from virtually everyone on her skating on X. A lot of right-leaning people and pages have praised her for being the archetypal immigrant success story since her dad came here from China and became a lawyer, and now she's a world champion athlete, as well as just generally being happy that an American won gold and feeling patriotic about it. This has been met with scathing mockery from a lot of progressives who are quick to point out that she is progressive and woke and likely hates most of the conservatives who are praising her. This is the problem with progressives. People on the right are happy to see her succeed. They're happy that her dad came here through a legal immigration process, has contributed and been successful, and now she's done the same thing in turn. They overwhelmingly don't care about her politics, especially because she hasn't used the Olympics as a megaphone to broadcast her political beliefs. Exactly. She's just done what she was there to do. Obviously, if the situations were reversed, you'd have a completely different reaction. If it came to light that she was a MAGA supporter, progressives would relentlessly bash and shame her. They wouldn't praise or promote her performance, and they'd largely only care about her political views. Exactly. Anyone with common sense who has been alive for the last decade knows this is the truth, because we've seen it happen over and over again. This is why so many people, everything that's been going on the last couple of years, and I think it's absolutely fascinating. Then you see people making fake quotes, which I also think it's cringe. People are trying to like make fake quotes of her, saying stuff that would make her like alt-right or something like that, which she didn't say, which I think also is bad, right? You shouldn't be like attributing false quotes to her. Yeah. But people are getting mad at her. They're not getting mad at the people making these fake quotes. They're getting mad at her for not denouncing them or rejecting the quotes. Yep. Saying you can never hate conservatives enough because now they're editing photos of Alyssa to say things she didn't say, and based on like every interaction with her posts, interviews, etc., whatever. And this person says, Alyssa not addressing any of this is pissing me off too. Ooh. They're mad because she hasn't come out to denounce posts that contain fake quotes of her, like as if she's not busy enough and has enough going on. She has to go and please random Twitter user Ivy with 149 followers, as if that is the number one priority in her life right now. And that's really all I have to say about Alyssa Liu here. Amazing accomplishment. The reaction on social media has been wild, and she's become basically a national treasure among normal people from all walks of life who just appreciate what she did for the United States and for the Olympics and the United States and their participation in it. But one more because this is funny. It's sort of related. It's related to the Olympics. The Huffington Post came out with an absolute banger saying if waving the American flag or chanting USA turns you off right now, you're not alone. Wow. 10 million views, 1.6K likes, with 27,000 comments. That's so bad, it's actually impressive.
A ratio.
But then you see this.
28.
Have you heard of them? Well, now you have. Jimmy's Famous Seafood coming in with a go F yourself to the tune of 212,000 likes. This might be the hardest ratio I've ever seen in social media history. Jimmy's Famous Seafood. I check out their account here. I guess it's they got like a physical location. I think they also send things out. I'm told, not sponsored, by the way. I'm just impressed. They picked up the hammer and they dropped it on the Huffington Post. I hope them nothing but success, because that is the perfect reaction to these absolute maniacs over at the Huffington Post who clearly hate their own country. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Now, let's also have a chat here.
Okay, just a quick one.
About,
this is about
what I found
Australia.
Just honestly quite bizarre, which was an opinion poll, which Holly has shown us that Australians, frankly, have a more negative view of Donald Trump than they do of the Chinese president. Now,
kangaroos and boomerangs.
And I have always said this, despite the fact that, you know, I got the photo, I got the red hat, I'm fully aware of what time Bannon's on in the middle of the night, right? I'm across it. But I also know it's not the majority of Australians. We know how that played out again at the last election, so I'm not off in fairyland with this. But for goodness sake, what is going wrong with how we talk about China, that you have Putin minus 60, you have Trump minus 40, but the bloke who's actually reshaping the world as we speak, already winning the Third World War without a shot being fired, is more popular than the President of the United States. What does that tell us about where we get our information from and how little people care about what's going on in the country? Where if they execute you, they'll send you the bill for the bullet. And I'm not talking about America.
Well, I mean, isn't it extraordinary? But, you know, maybe this is a good thing, Paul, because, you know, if you look at what Bowen and what this government's doing, they're just handing over our national sovereignty at every opportunity, and predominantly to China. And all of this stuff that even Matt was just talking about with the EVs coming in, the extra Chinese cars. We know that the solar panels people are putting on their roofs have Chinese inverters being used in them. I mean, we are just handing over our national sovereignty to China every step of the way. I mean, we are inviting them in. And, you know, maybe for all these Australians that think Trump's more scary, thank God they like G, because he could be here sooner than we think. I mean, when you look at what's happening geopolitically, China's in our, you know, in our part of the world, in our neighbourhood. And if anything was to happen, whether it flows on from China, maybe trying to overtake Taiwan, you know, we just don't know where that's going to land. And, you know, this is a real concern, that someone who's been our strongest, you know, is the president now who has been our strongest ally, and yet Australians generally are buying into this constant negative Trump
probably
reporting,
not getting the truth.
is just really, it's really quite worrying.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this. Is that part of the feeling, the negative feeling about Trump, is because again, all day, every day in the news, right? But we have no insight. I mean, again, you can think whatever you want about Trump. Who's the bloke who basically disappeared the entire top of the military? And I'm not saying, you know, took him out of Minnesota. I'm talking about Xi, who's just ripped the top off his military and nobody knows where they are. I think this is a thing about our lack of reporting about the day-to-day of how China works. Matt.
Well, Paul, look, Xi Jinping's still at -40. He's not seen through rose-coloured glasses. But I think a lot of the rest of the population would unfortunately not even know who Xi Jinping is. Let's face that. I mean, Xi Jinping, I don't follow him on X, but I don't think he puts out too many mean tweets. He doesn't attract controversy. Yeah, I think he's pretty diplomatic, despite having probably an iron fist behind the scenes. So, as you suggested. So, look, I think it's a matter of knowledge. But that goes to Holly's point, that I do worry quite often that our media and present company accepted do focus far too much on North America, on Europe. I understand why we do, but we do live in this geopolitically now very important area in the West Pacific, and we don't hear about it very much. We don't hear about Asia. We don't hear about Indonesia. We don't hear about the seismic events that are occurring in our region that will affect us a lot more than, say, the next UK elections and Nigel Farage. We hear much more about that.
Yeah.
But we do need to think about our own country first.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, Matt. Enjoy Townsville. Holly, what's on the specials menu for tonight, mate?
Well, because I love small business so much, and my poor chef, we opened the cafe last Monday and she's sick. So guess who was on the tools today?
Good stuff.
I expect the next couple of weeks.
All right, ham and cheese croissants for everyone. Get it in the press. You'll be fine. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
What are you doing? He's eating me alive. This is Al's take on the Mexico thing. A little bit. I mean,
if you guys
you
have
figured
not
it would be
seen,
plastered
pretty
everywhere,
much full war has broken out in Mexico.
At least civil
between
war.
The
I don't know
and
if
the
it's
federal government.
full war.
They are out in the streets after assassinating a key cartel figure, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this video. It's basically a full-on war zone. My thoughts and prayers go out to everybody, to the amazing Mexican people who I love so much. I lived in Mexico for a while when I was younger, and I love this country dearly. It's an incredible place. A lot of misconceptions about it, but it's a really fantastic country with amazing people. And obviously, all the tourists who are trapped there right now is one of the top tourist destinations in the world. There are many people trapped there, so let's take a look at what's going on right now. Meyer Tusi says the people doing this to Mexico today are the same people ICE agents are trying to deport from the U.S. Be more grateful to your government, liberals. That's absolutely true. In one day, look at this. It looks like an absolute war zone. Bombs going off everywhere. Cars were being torched. I have not been able to officiate any sort of final death count. We might have that in the sources here my team sent me.
Burned down a lot of cars.
But it is really a really, really big mess breaking out in Mexico right now towards this country.
Get him out. Get him out. I love you. Get him out. Get him out.
Maybe the Mexican forces, I guess, getting ready for action against these cartels. It's probably going to be quite a few days, maybe even weeks of fighting now, unless a ceasefire is reached, because they usually do reach ceasefire agreements with these cartels. In case you need a reminder why border security is important, why you shouldn't allow 10 million people to come across the border unvetted, this is Mexico now, in front of a Costco, mind you.
No, the chicken.
Yeah.
Can't stand. Can't stand up, boy. Look at everything.
A few hours ago, Mexico killed El Mencho, the leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel and one of the world's most wanted drug traffickers. As expected, violence has now erupted across Mexico, threatening to spiral into a full-blown war. Now, this is a developing situation. The violence is still spreading across the country. So we're going to get into what we know so far as of 4 p.m. Central Time on Sunday, February 22nd,
backing up into the National
what to
Guard
expect in the
vehicle
coming days and what it would take for the United States to get directly involved. On that note, U.S. involvement, my understanding now from the reporting that I've seen is that the United States provided intelligence support to the Mexican military. There have not been any official statements or any reliable sources I should say, suggesting that the United States had any more involvement than that. No U.S. aircraft overhead, and certainly no U.S. boots on the ground. That's as of reporting right now. Of course, that could change. Now, to give you an idea of how significant this operation was, the Latin Times said, quote, "The killing immediately becomes one of the most consequential blows to a major Mexican criminal organization in years, both because CJNG has been widely described as among the country's most powerful and violent groups, and because El Mencho has remained a fugitive despite a years-long binational manhunt that includes a U.S. State Department reward of up to $15 million for information leading to his arrest or conviction." I don't speak Spanish. I feel like El Mencho is pretty close to what it's supposed to be, but I'm sure I'm getting that wrong in some way, and I'll hear about it in the comments. But that's who we're talking about, El Mencho, the head of CJNG. The Associated Press went into a little more detail here, saying the Mexican army killed the leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel, El Mencho, on Sunday, decapitating what had become Mexico's most powerful cartel. They say El Mencho was wounded in an operation on Sunday to capture him in Jalisco, and he died while being flown to Mexico City. And this is just something to keep in mind as the violence continues to escalate. This is so much more than a street gang or a low-level gang. These guys have armored vehicles. They have rocket launchers. They have machine guns. They are not just they have a lot of drones, and that's going to be an interesting one to see how it plays out if this violence continues to spiral. And they're also very well trained. All right, so this is not quite force on force, like equal playing field. But it's much closer to that than it is, say, in the United States, if the U.S.
You guys have to check it a little bit early. That's all I would say.
Not a fair fight. This is closer to a level playing field in a lot of ways. Now, the Associated Press added that the DEA considers the cartel to be as powerful as the Sinaloa cartel, one of Mexico's most infamous criminal groups with a presence in all 50 U.S. states. They say it is one of the main suppliers of cocaine to the U.S. market, and like the Sinaloa cartel, earns billions from the production of fentanyl and methamphetamines.
So much money.
Now, in terms of the violence that's spreading, a lot of the videos that you're seeing right now is the result of CJNG attacks across the country. We don't have very much from the actual kill capture mission itself, but the burning vehicles, the roadblocks and such, that is the response from CJNG. El Huaso, a great analyst over on X, whose information will be linked in the description below, put together this graphic saying he is now tracking narco-related violence in 18 states. That's how quickly this started to spiral. Now, we're seeing a wide range of what these response and attacks look like at this point. In terms of casualty figures, really not clear. I've not seen any viable reporting on that at all. Outside of the Mexican government talking about the results of that raid, everything else is just a mess, is probably the best way to put it. Don't have details on military personnel killed. We know some of them have been targeted. Don't have information on additional cartel members killed, and don't have any information on civilians caught in the crossfire. If the violence were to spread into the United States, that would be a different story. We do know CJNG, as well as any number of Mexican cartels, have a presence in the United States. They have been violent at times, not to the level that we're seeing in Mexico right now. If that were to happen here, then we would probably see a U.S. crackdown locally. So if it happened in Phoenix, you'd see a crackdown in Phoenix. I don't know that that would necessarily translate to a U.S. operation in Mexico to go after their leadership. The big thing to watch right now is the spiral of violence. Is the state going to be able to regain control and kind of tamp this down? Or are we watching the first few hours of what could be the most violent episode in Mexico's history getting ready to play out?
And I want to take a look at this. This is the fucking cartel, guys. Look at this. This isn't Mexican Special Forces, the Army.
What are you doing?
This isn't America. This is the cartel.
Pinche 20, a ver si muy verga, te topas con nosotros. Ahí tengo desamarrados los perros, culero. Y así, voy a andar patrullando. Con tu puta madre. Órale, 20, hijo de puta madre. Píntale a la verga.
I didn't hear them speak.
That's insane. Is that actually the cartel? Regardless of if this is special forces or not, the fact that the cartel has this much gear and is that well... What I've understood,
didn't hear the voices before. That was kind of funny.
This has always been the issue, by the way, with Mexico. Even I remember when I lived there briefly, and a couple times I visited. I've been to Mexico 4 times now. It has always been one of the major issues with Mexico is that the cartel holds so much power over them. And these are cartels that are affiliated also with Islamic terrorist groups in some ways. They do a lot of drug trafficking one to another. They these people have taken politicians hostage financially, also by power, by their strength, by their imposition militarily. And this has always been the major issue with Mexico. Besides that, culture-wise, religion-wise, a lot of their values are very much Western aligned. They are an incredible country. And I don't mean to be glazing Mexico for no reason right now. I just have a lot of on-hand experience there with Mexican people, and I really love them. I think it's an amazing place. But this has been an issue, and a lot of it could be stemmed from government corruption that just hasn't ended. Even Claudia Sheinbaum now hasn't done enough to tackle government corruption, and some people would even say their current president, she's maybe making things worse.
Eva.
President Trump and ICE are trying to prevent USA from becoming a third world disaster. Look at Mexico right now. These are the tourist areas, which for a long time were...
I gotta go to the bathroom, so I'll be right back. Yep, I'm sure. I can take her back. Oh, she loves her. Hi, baby. Oh. How you doing to my nose? That's my nose. My hair. Literally got slobbered up the nose. You okay? What? What do you need? I know, I love you.
Or
what, hairbrush?
Kind of protected by the cartel, but this assassination of this key cartel figure.
So everybody is being told to leave the area right now. Here on the beach, the tiki bar is being cleared out. All of these things are being cleared out. It's being roped off right now.
Oh, you getting that pillow?
They're asking that everybody
You getting that pillow?
vacate the area and leave immediately. You can see the smoke. I don't know if you can, the smoke in the sky. But we were just walking on the beach and we saw smoke everywhere.
Where's my hairbrush?
And we're major cartel violence.
Oops.
And we're being informed that there's major cartel violence happening.
You're taking everything out.
Apparently, they've
You're ready for bed.
A top-ranking cartel member, and when that happens, all-out war happens. A number of cars have been set on fire, motorcycles set on fire.
Okay.
In fact, there were some attendees of Anarchapulco who were in a taxi cab.
Made you wear yourself out, huh?
Targeted by the cartel. They were they had their car shot at. The taxi driver was murdered, and the car was set on fire.
Crazy.
All of their luggage has
exploded.
been burned, including their clothes and
probably a flare, road flare.
So it's a pretty scary, dire situation right now. We're being told, do not go out at all. Do not walk in the streets. Do not get in a taxi or an Uber. Do not go to the airport. In fact, the entire airport may be shut down right now because of this cartel violence. I mean, we heard Trump mentioning a while back that he's going to go after the cartel in Mexico. Is this the beginning of that?
That ocean is loud.
I don't know, but everybody here has just been instructed to leave the area immediately. The entire beach here is being shut down. It's clearing out. And really intense situation going on here in Puerto
Okay, you ready?
Vallarta. So
ready for your stroller?
I'm gonna
yeah, I know.
document this as we do. We're gonna stay safe in our hotel. I don't know if you can see the smoke in the air, but it's all over the place. It's thinned out now in the last hour.
Did you set a
fire? Apparently, from what I understand, there's a whole bunch of cartel violence happening all over the city right now.
How long's left on the timer?
But hopefully it's not going to be an issue for us, because as it is right now, the airports might even be shut down. I hear the military is getting involved. Some of these cartel have, in the past, shot down military helicopters because they literally own rocket launchers. So this is serious stuff. This is serious stuff. Again, everybody is being forced to vacate the bar, the beach area.
I know. You're mad.
And smoke in the air.
Hello?
Major situation here in Puerto Vallarta.
My hair.
And this is why you don't allow paramilitary groups to form on your borders or within your nation. The response against Hamas
My
starts
hairbrush?
Slowly, the entire world will understand what Israel has been dealing with, but you guys have to learn it the hard way. For some reason, when it happens to us, you're not willing to listen. But you'll understand slowly, when it happens like this, you'll be like, oh, wait, that's why you can't have a terrorist group with rocket launchers living on your border, because they'll blow your planes up. They'll risk, they'll shut down your country. Oh, that's an issue for us, right? Because we want to live normal lives. Now, here's the thing. I want everybody who's watching this right now to understand this isn't the Mexican people. This actually isn't the people of Mexico. This is not really a part of Mexican culture. It's not cartel violence. Obviously, there's an element of that.
We've already watched all.
It's only been a month, and New York's mayor has already brought back lockdowns.
Due to these factors, we are declaring a state of emergency and instituting a travel ban. Starting at 9 p.m. this evening and ending at 12 p.m. tomorrow. The state of emergency closes the streets, highways, and bridges of New York City for all traffic. Cars, trucks, scooters, and e-bikes, with some specific exemptions for essential and emergency movement. For your safety, stay home, stay inside, and stay off the roads.
It's banned.
I don't have
and
it
you know
fully
why there's a
buckled. I just have
lockdown
it
and a travel
for arms
ban?
in the
Not
loop.
enough New Yorkers went out there to shovel the city's way out of this mess.
The big snowstorm coming today.
That's up to you. You don't have to.
We need emergency snow shovelers.
If you'd like to sign up to be a paid snow shoveler, you can go to any DSNY garage from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow on Sunday.
But you need ID.
I saw that the mayor said that we were supposed to report for duty between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. today for emergency snow shoveling.
Yeah,
Why?
No, it's not yet. I think the earliest that we can put you out there is 8 p.m. tonight.
It's $20 an hour.
I think it's actually higher now.
Okay.
If I
$30
have a
bucks an hour.
snowblower and I can do the work of 3 to 4 people, can I get paid more?
I don't think so.
I thought we could just tax the rich. Need 2 forms of ID? What happens if I only have one?
You need 2 forms to sign up.
One from this side and one from this side.
It's so interesting because they want to tell us we don't need ID to vote, but we need 2 forms of ID to shovel. You know? Do I need to print the photos out? I have to print those.
Yes.
What if I don't have a printer?
You go to CVS.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but the thing is, CVS is closed right now. You ain't going to CVS. And the mayor's out
You
there
just
begging
locked
for
everything
people to help.
down.
But it's the city's fault that it can't help itself because
How
the
much an hour
residents
were
don't
they
have their
paying, though?
2
Jeez.
printed photos from CVS weeks ahead of
30.
a snowstorm.
I got
Or
here,
an
our
hour
mayor
to
said
shovel?
to show up at the garage at 8 a.m. I was just told inside that I have to come back at 8 p.m. and that my shovel is outdated, but they have another one waiting for me.
new model.
New model. They're going to
Nice.
hold on to it for me. I have to come back.
That's cool.
With the proper attire,
You
2
get a
forms
shovel.
of ID, a social security card, 2 photos printed out.
Wow.
Get paid $30 an hour.
It's not going to happen. And the ID's not even the worst part. It's just the stupid requirements of this whole thing that you got to have stuff printed out because the city won't take your picture and print it out themselves, right? That's the issue.
What's required in order to join the emergency snow shovelers in New York City this weekend. With the huge snowstorm coming to New York City and other places in the Northeast, Zoran announced if you want to make some extra cash and you're in New York City, you can be an emergency snow shoveler.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Those that are eligible are at least 18 years old, makes sense, eligible to work in the
He's
United
kicking and
States,
bucking.
able to perform
Yeah, I
heavy
see you're
physical
kicking and
labor,
bucking.
makes sense. And then also, when you register, you must have 2 original forms of ID.
Oh, and it says
to make
you
things
need copies.
even funnier, when Zoran announced this, he made sure to not include that you need 2 forms of ID.
Vans and 2 DSNY buses to transport shovelers where they're needed faster. And for those who want to do more to help their neighbors and earn some extra cash, you too can become an emergency snow shoveler. Just show up at your local sanitation garage between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. tomorrow with your paperwork, which is accessible online at nyc.gov/snow.
Yeah, he didn't mention what the paperwork was. This announcement made it sound like people could just go out there and be helpful and help their community and get paid and save the world. But these requirements stop that from happening. I don't have a printer. I don't have the ability to print photographs. How am I supposed to go become a snow shoveler even if I have a shovel and am willing to work and could get a job with my ID and my social security number? See, this is more requirements to work for the city than to work at a private business. And the entire city has essentially been paralyzed. Look at that tree that just fell down. That's going to take out people's power lines. There's going to be people living in the dark. Look, they got the fire department out there. That's good that they're at least out there. But
Really
that
stretched them.
apartment, that place doesn't have any power. I see a light on in this other one. Okay, that's a good thing. But this place has failed to operate. Look at this. You cannot drive down the street. Can't take a bike. There goes the idea to save the environment, riding around a city e-bike.
Wait,
And
they
we
have
do have some snow plows.
plows
but
on
this looks
trash
like a rich
trucks?
neighborhood right here. You know how I can tell? Because the neighborhood I live in hasn't been plowed yet. And some of this footage is from last night. Look at this. You ain't getting delivery either. Because even if the restaurant that you want to get delivery from is
keep out of
open,
5 more minutes.
there ain't nobody riding a bike because they're banned. They're not even supposed to be out there. on the road, if they could even do it. And these guys, they're out there with snow blowers, but they can't get a job working for the city to shovel more snow than is necessary if they don't have access to CVS, you see. Look at this. Where's this in my
I can't believe they're using trash
I don't see
trucks.
this in my
They're not even
neighborhood.
putting salt
How come they
down.
have 4 trucks right there? That's crazy. But they're not here. This is how it works, man. You gotta live where the rich live.
They don't even have legitimate
Over
snowplows.
by where the mayor is, I'm sure they plowed Gracie Manor. I'm sure they plowed City Hall. Unbelievable. And they say we don't have enough money. And guess who's not happy about this?
Hey, you came in with a good talk, but you're not walking the good walk. The water went up.
Yup, utilities
the gas
going up.
went up. Light bill went up.
Everything went up.
Raise the taxes.
What exactly are we doing here? Do your job as mayor.
Yep. No, can't do that.
So these are American
They're mad.
citizens who very distinctly remember not very long ago that Zoran Mondani, when he was a candidate, said, I promise I'm not going to raise taxes on you.
Yeah, right.
You came in with a good talk.
We don't let politicians get away with this in America before there's a revolt.
Read my lips. No new taxes.
Yeah, and we all know how that worked out while we're in the middle of a lockdown. That's what we're paying for. We're paying for lockdowns and travel bans now.
Communist, and yes, communist policies. That's what Zoran Mondani is talking about.
Yep.
It never
He
works.
is a communist.
He says his
I can't tell what the difference is.
Well, he can
There's
describe
no
the
difference.
He can describe the differences for you. The socialism is not the same basis of communism in this country. You know that quite
The
well.
man
You
wants,
have an
the
economic
man wants to
background.
create. The
They're
man
the
wants to
same.
create government-run grocery stores. He wants free transportation, both of which are impossible to do. Because how
You
is
know that
how is
communism
he?
is a trigger word to
how
try
is-
to undermine all of his policies. He's not a
I
communist.
don't need to. I don't need to undermine his policies. His policies undermine himself.
Well,
because
they
they've
do.
never worked. Here's
They
what I
do.
want him to do. Tell me where they've ever worked. They've never worked.
Mhm.
He knows that. I knows that. But what he's trying to do is promise everybody something that they can't have. And the truth is, there is no free lunch, just like there's
Right.
no free bus. Because you know what happens when you have a free bus? There's nobody there to fix it or to drive it. He
Right.
knows that. I know that. You know that. America does know it. And it's unfortunate that the city of New York, my former home city, is probably going to have to go through this.
It's going through it right
Yeah,
now.
it's sad.
And it's actually getting worse every single day. Here's why.
A recent budget proposal by Mayor Mamdani could see major cuts to the NYPD.
Mm.
News 12's Karina Gary
Oh.
has the
He looks
details.
absolutely tired.
Less than 2 months into his first term, and Mayor Mamdani
Already.
is already facing financial blows.
When we took office, we inherited a historic budget gap.
The
Okay.
mayor is now tasked with closing a $5.4
At first he said
billion
it was $12
deficit
billion.
over the next 2 years.
In order to do that, the mayor is proposing cutting $22 million in NYPD funding, as well as end the face hiring of 5,000 new officers that the previous administration was funding for.
Wow.
You know, that's sending bad messages. They can't try to balance budgets on.
So he said during the campaign that he was not going to defund the police at all. He did make sure to say that. He said he was going to keep funding levels as is, but right here we see a funding cut, and there are police who were supposed to be hired, and now, you know what? Guys, drop out of the academy, just, or finish if you want to, and we'll call you if we need you, right? That's a huge problem. New York already has less officers than it needs. We've got officers that are retiring, and we've got these teen takeovers that won't stop happening in the city.
A President's Day takeover turns violent at a Bronx mall, and now other malls are ramping up their security.
Police say at least 18 people are in custody, and most of them
Look
are
at this.
teenagers.
Wow,
John
we're
Diaz
cutting
has
police.
this story.
Are you kidding me?
You're never gonna be teenager,
That
right?
sound is glass breaking after someone is seen
Yeah.
throwing an
He's always
object
gonna be
into
a baby.
Munchie's Deli on
Munchie's
Baychester
Deli.
Avenue. Just one of the chaotic moments that erupted in
This is
and around
wild.
Baychester
Yeah, you know
Mall
it.
Monday
Look at this.
afternoon.
They tried to like break in. You know, we closed the door and we tried to avoid
Breaking
that.
into a
We tried to
deli.
call 911.
The manager, who didn't want to show his face, says the situation quickly spiraled out of control and fear set in.
There's like over 300 kids.
300 people breaking windows, destroying businesses. And you know what? Let's cut the NYPD's funding. Let's cut that so that we can pay for all the other stuff we want to pay for. We got $1.2 billion lined up for people that are in New York illegally.
Alexa,
They're
turn the
gonna
lights
get
off in the
money.
family room.
The police can't have the money. And who does that hurt? That hurts businesses. These people are now being taxed twice. They're going to be taxed if they're millionaires. They're going to be taxed again by the crime tax that comes from
Yeah.
just being here. But just before we continue, you may have seen the conversations online lately about how censorship is back And it's happening everywhere. Platforms are controlling narratives and they're pushing the stuff they want us to see. We need to fight back. And Rumble is the only company that has stood the test of time and deserves our support. On the one side, Rumble is challenging big tech censorship, but on the other side, they have introduced something that will give us protection from the big banks shutting us down. Banks can cancel our accounts and freeze our credit cards. So that's why they launched Rumble Wallet, a wallet no one can cancel, and a wallet that supporters can use to instantly tip creators like myself without any middleman taking a cut. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money. Not a bank, not a government, not a tech company, not even Rumble can touch it. It's yours, only yours to protect your future and your family. You can buy and save digital assets like Bitcoin and Tether Gold in one place. Tether Gold is real gold on the blockchain with real ownership of physical gold bars. It's not only a wallet to buy and save, but it also allows you to support your favorite creators by easily tipping them with the click of a button. There will be no fees when you tip my channel or others. We actually receive the tip instantly, unlike other platforms where we have to wait for payouts. You can support my show and others by clicking the tip button on my Rumble channel. That's wallet.rumble.com. Download Rumble Wallet today, open an account, and step away from the big banks. For good, wallet.rumble.com or search Rumble Wallet in your app store.
Across the street, police say they believe this same large group of teenagers broke a window at the McDonald's area. Businesses say this gathering was no accident. The rowdy bunch came together after a planned takeover was being advertised across social media platforms. Police say they arrested 17 teenagers.
Okay, but whose fault is that? Is that the fault of Facebook or Instagram or wherever this happened? Or is that the fault of our city for having laws that don't punish people that want to commit crime and for getting rid of the few police that are even there to arrest them? Look at all these police patrolling this McDonald's right here. That's wild. They can't go solve other crimes. There is now an opportunity for criminals to go to wherever those police were and commit crime there because we don't have enough police. We got to just move them around. We're just rearranging deck chairs on a sinking ship.
And one adult
to organize and create chaos. That's just not okay.
No.
All I heard was screaming.
Now, there's still no clear reason why these kids decided to do this, but police are speculating it's due to the warmer weather and also no school.
What do you mean warmer weather? If 45 degrees triggers the mobs of 300 people.
Imagine what 75 will.
An entire shopping mall. What's going to happen when it's, you know, a nice 75 degrees on a spring afternoon? What's going to happen then? You better put your seatbelt on.
You ever seen a piranha eating food? For one attacks, they all come in
piranhas.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Stephen Estrada handles security at Five Below. He says he had to keep the doors locked to prevent damage as the group made repeated attempts to get inside.
They tried to get in here at least twice. It was like they was making rounds.
Concern spreading to nearby Yonkers Tuesday, where police and private security were seen monitoring activity at the Cross County Center in case of additional takeovers. Yonkers.
So New York has a law. It's called the Raise the Age Law. And what it effectively did, it said that anybody who's under the age of 18 cannot be held responsible for criminal behavior, which essentially means if you're not 18, you got to get out of jail free card. That's why nobody's in jail. Because everybody gets out. And what we're essentially doing in New York, while we lay off future police officers and cut their funding right now, is we're teaching people how to become career criminals. You got somebody who's, you know, between the ages of 14 and 18, they're going to have a bachelor's degree in crime. But let's get an update from the mayor on the snow response. See how we're doing.
We are seeing the first blizzard our city has seen since 2016.
What about the one 2 weeks ago?
Up-to-date counts are giving us estimates of between 90 to 21 inches citywide, with certain localized areas up to about 22 inches. As of 5:30 a.m. this morning, the incredible men and women of DSNY had done a first plow of 99.3% of all of our city roads.
Except where I live.
Shift changed since then, and New Yorkers can stay up to date on that through Plow NYC.
Mayor, you decided to close the schools today, no remote learning. When do you think you're going to be able to make a decision about schools tomorrow?
It's already been made. Can't get down the street.
We haven't yet made that decision. We will be communicating that, however, to families as well as students and staff sometime in the afternoon. We're doing everything we can right now to respond to the storm and make sure that we're ready for tomorrow. And as soon as we have that information, we will be sharing that.
Oh, we're going to see.
This is the second storm, in the last 4 weeks. I know you faced some criticism after the first one, and you've...
Yeah, see, the news is bringing it up. They're like, look, buddy, we just had a storm. We just had a massive storm. And you're facing some criticism from that one. Did you have time to learn any lessons? And how are you implementing those lessons right now?
You were going to do things a little better, a little differently this time around. So what are some of those things that you guys did do differently as you're addressing this storm?
Well, we're first of all looking at everything that worked last time around, starting it from the very first day, and then looking to enhance it. Now, the one silver lining here is that unlike with the last storm, where we saw a prolonged cold spell after the storm, which led to snow hardening into ice, what we're seeing now, however, is that we expect temperatures to get into the 40s sometime in midweek.
So what we're going to do differently is we're going to have different weather. The weather is going to come in and clean up the mess for us. That's the plan. That's the game plan. They have no plan.
In melting the snow, as opposed to last time, we had literal snow melting operations in every single borough of the city. Now, in addition to what we were doing from the last time around, we've been able to geotag all of our unsheltered bus stops and crosswalks across the city. So DSNY has an active look at when the last time was that we cleaned through these bus stops and these crosswalks so that New Yorkers can get around whenever they can, no matter what mode of transit that they're doing.
There's a travel
in addition to
ban.
DSNY, we've also brought in about double the number of emergency snow shovelers. So through sustained outreach over the last few weeks, we've brought in an additional 500, 600 snow shovelers.
So in a city of 8 million people who are struggling to afford rent and to live and can't work today because wherever they work today is shut down as there's a travel ban, they got 500 people to shovel snow. I don't know what the percentage is. The numerator is too small for that massive 8 million denominator for me to do the math required to figure out how successful this snow shoveler operation has been. It's been a failure.
Who have been able to clear a first pass, at least, of more than 1,000 crosswalks last night, around 400 fire hydrants, and about 800 to 900 bus stops across the city.
Mr. Mayor, if I could ask you about the dangerous
it's only the
conditions
city
for those who are
infrastructure they're even paying
unhoused.
to clear, not the private businesses.
What steps were taken this time around to help those who are not in shelter at this hour?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, are they going to help the homeless this time?
So a number
Probably
of
not.
things. We have hundreds of outreach workers who are traversing every single one of the 5 boroughs.
They were there last time.
Not just today, but in the days prior. And what they're doing is connecting homeless New Yorkers with shelter and safe haven. We have warming buses, warming spaces, warming sites. These are the repurposing of city infrastructure.
Get around
whether
with
it's more than 10 schools, whether it's more than 10 health and hospital sites, or whether it's quite literally warming buses and mobile clinical vans that are moving throughout this city. We have at least 15 as of this morning. Now, the importance of this is that homeless New Yorkers, they need to be given a number of different options to come inside. It can't just be a one-size-fits-all approach. So in addition to this, we've also added more than 100 beds to a shelter that we had recently opened up in Upper Manhattan to ensure we have the additional capacity. Now,
but what we're not talking about here is doing what you or I would do if we had a friend who lived on the street. If we had a friend that lived on the street or a family member, we wouldn't allow that person to decide to stay there. We wouldn't give them options and say, hey, man, do you want to come inside? It's going to be freezing out. There's a snowstorm. What do you think? And then, no, I'm going to stay. Like, we wouldn't accept that answer. We would have an intervention. We would get our friends and our other family members to haul that person indoors and warm them up and take care of them and treat them humanely because they're out in this very dangerous situation that they don't fully understand. That's not part of the humanity that we're extending to each other in this city anymore.
Now, beyond this, what we've also done is ensure that on our Link NYC kiosks across New York City,
the free
there's
Wi-Fi.
a list of where all those warming centers are so that homeless New Yorkers, as well as New Yorkers who see someone in need, have a quick and easy way to access that.
Quick and easy.
And Mayor, final question for you. Just as this storm kind of winds down here over the next couple of hours, do you have any timelines as far as when bans will be lifted, when mass transit back up
when
and
can we
running
leave?
as normal?
When's the lockdown
Any
over?
timelines you guys are working on?
Great question.
So right now we have the travel ban in effect until 12 p.m. and a large part of that is not just the snow, but the combination with 40 to 60 miles per hour and wind gusts, and just how hazardous it makes it for driving conditions as well as for New Yorkers who are outside for any other reason. If we have any updates to that, we will be sure to share them, but at this time it does end at 12 p.m. We have our public transit running on a delay at this time. However, they're still up and running with our subways and our trains, and we are looking in concert with the state and MTA to do everything we can to get everything back up to speed as soon as possible.
But the real plan that we have is to wait for the weather, because the weather's supposed to come in and save us. But I got bad news for you. Looky here. Look at the weather report. Look what we got. We got snow today. Tomorrow, it's going to be below freezing. That's the high. Then we get more snow, more snow, more snow. And this ain't letting up.
This message is from Mondami and Mondami only. I know you just started. I'm not putting too much of the blame on you, but if we get a blizzard, please clean these streets. So you're telling me that it took an entire month for the snow to get cleared from the ground in New York City because they did nothing to clean the ground. They waited for it to rain in order for the snow to clear. And now you're telling me that tonight or tomorrow we're going to get another blizzard?
Right.
We still have snow on the ground. We still have mountains underground. And on top of that, there's a whole bunch of dog shit all over the place.
Oh.
Please, we cannot have another freaking snowstorm where New York City does not get clean, because I don't know what happened this year. New York City, they ain't clean it. Y'all ain't clean it. So all them teenagers that raided Bay Plaza, put them to clean, please. Thank you. Just to reiterate.
She's so brilliant. All the teenagers that are destroying the shopping malls, they've got energy, so just make them clean. Put them out on the streets. Give them shovels. Tell them that is their community service. Oh, wait, we don't have consequences in this city. There are no consequences for criminal behavior. There are no consequences if Mother Nature doesn't come along and clean up our messes for us. Nope, this is just how we roll.
And does this seem like a well-run city to you? These snowstorms prove that the government is incapable of solving anything. If anything, all the government does is cause problems. Government's not a solution to the problems New Yorkers face. New Yorkers need to be able to make their own lives better on their own. They can't vote for somebody to come along and tax whoever owns this building, thinking that's going to make the lives of the people inside the building better, when all that person that owns this place is going to do is raise rents to cover it. And nobody's better off. And the government's not better off. They don't all of a sudden have some magical tool that they didn't have before to create a utopia for everyone to live in and enjoy. Nope, don't have that at all. Never had it. What do you think about that? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that incredible introduction. Thank you both for welcoming us here to your incredible facility. How are we doing today, Patriots? You know, it always works the other way. I come here to motivate you, and you end up motivating us. On behalf of the entire War Department, we came here with a simple message for all of you. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for having the backs of our warfighters, of the men and women who ruthlessly defend our freedom every single day. Because what you're building right here on this factory floor with your own two hands is critical to the 21st century arsenal of freedom. You are the patriots ensuring our warriors are never in a fair fight. You give them the tools to project absolute lethality against the enemy wherever they are and whenever we need to. We cannot do this without you. Out of code and composites, you built an incredible spacecraft. The Wright brothers' first flight was just a little over a century ago. What on earth would they make of this? How could this be possible, they would say, in such a short amount of time? Well, I'll tell you, through pure, unadulterated American ingenuity and competition. Through the blood, sweat, and tears of the best workforce in the world and the best workforce in human history. American software engineers, assembly mechanics, innovators of all kinds working to deliver peace through strength on behalf of their fellow citizens. Because for generations, the battle was fought on land, in the air, and subsea. But today, the ultimate high ground, the single most decisive battlefield of this century and the centuries to come is hundreds of miles above our heads. Make no mistake, this fight for space is the fight for the future of the world as we know it. And right here in Colorado, in the heart of America, you are forging the instruments of absolute and unquestioned American space dominance, which is what we require. You, the builders, the engineers, the technicians of Sierra Space are riding the next... For too long, much in Washington, D.C., especially in some ways in the aerospace industry, is a giant swamp. A cozy club of bloated, over-budget prime contractors who got rich by failing the American people and our warfighters. They moved at a snail's pace, led by CEOs who cared more about their stock options and golden parachutes than about delivering for the men and women on the front lines. They got slow, they got comfortable, and they got fat, selling us yesterday's technology tomorrow. For decades, before President Trump, we were betrayed by a corrupt, self-serving bipartisan consensus in Washington. A globalist so-called elite who told us that it was progress to gut your industrial heartland and ship our factories and jobs overseas. While they shipped their champagne in Davos, they lectured you and me, the American workers, that American manufacturing was a thing of the past. They told us that the global community, where we depended on our adversaries as the very parts that fueled our military, was somehow to our benefit. The so-called experts in their ivory towers and the scribblers at the Wall Street Journal all read from the same script. Outsourcing is the future, they proclaimed. Let them tell that to the workers and the patriots of Sierra Space. Let them say that to the machinists who shape metal with American hands. Let them say that to the technicians who wire the complex machines for our arsenal of freedom, like the Dream Chaser, the Life Habitat, and the Vortex engine. The critical satellites that serve as the eyes and ears in the cosmos. Let them say that to the programmers and the engineers who are outthinking and outbuilding every competitor on Earth. You are not here shuffling paper for Wall Street. You are here on this factory floor building the very machines that will guarantee our nation's survival for your kids and grandkids and mine. You are living, breathing proof that the globalist lie was just that, a lie. You prove every single day that when we unleash American industry, when we finally unleash our raw, competitive, patriotic spirit, America always wins. When we compete, we win. When we innovate, we win. If we go fast, we win. And that is the bedrock principle of our War Department under President Trump. We are in, make no mistake about it. Our job is to be in an ongoing, never-ending war of attrition against the Pentagon bureaucracy.
You have to feed them. You have to do something with them.
Let's jump back to Rogan and my very colorful friend Michael Malice discussing how New York City's budget is just completely insane and now it's run by a commie jihadi.
The New York proposal is 127 billion, so it is more.
Holy crap!
So New York City their budget is more than the entire state of California with
Florida.
State of Florida with 3 million more people, or 3 times the people.
Holy
proposal, but for this year it would be about the same, because if it's 11 million, that's 116. That's the same.
But the point is,
it says it's up 11 billion from the current year.
It's still a proposal though. He hasn't passed it.
Well, he's not. Yeah, he's a psychopath. Like,
is he
the amount for migrants is crazy. There should be $0 for illegal immigrants.
But
zero.
I don't think you can have zero, because if they're going to be there, they're going to be. You have to feed them. You have to do something with them. Like literally, if you don't feed them, they're going to be robbing stores. They have to. Human beings need food. What are you going to do?
Get them jobs.
How are you going to get a migrant a job?
Get him a job in Guatemala.
Wouldn't you rather give him food than a job? I don't want them taking American citizens' jobs.
Well, the whole thing's a mess.
The whole thing's a mess. But the point is, you can't just throw them away.
Right.
That's the
Unless
problem.
you're going to remove them from the country.
Right. Unless you remove them, even if you want to put them in jail, that's not cheap.
Right. That costs a lot of money.
Right. So what are you going to do?
Well done, Michael Malice. So now if you think about the first clip we started from Rogan, where he said there's no easy answers here, it's not clean cut. Well, Rogan just then said there should be $0. Well, that would be pretty damn clean cut. And then Malice points out, well, okay, but then you can't let them in the first place. You can't have a sanctuary city in the first place. So sanctuary cities, by any rational explanation, should be completely banned, and it is a violation of the Supremacy Clause. So that number one is right there. But this is where Rogan get to the end of the road. Okay, you get it. You think Zorhan's a psychopath. You think sanctuary cities are wrong. You think the spending is out of control. Then it is clean cut what you have to do. These people cannot be put into public office. We need to close our borders. We need to kick them all out and everything else. It's only because of the half measure people that suddenly realize everything goes to shit and they go, oh man, what are we going to do? But then it's too late, as Malice points out. Well, now you've brought them in. You're going to give them nothing. Okay, they're going to start raping and pillaging and murdering, which actually is coming to New York City after the snowstorm.
Yeah, it seems like
It's time for Lefty's Losing It, and he's back. Yes, we've brought you the mad hysterics of Robert.
Speaking of, we'll see what craziness is happening. Is anything new? Swap body cam footage, fatal shooting of suspect in Dallas. Okay, we might check that out. Status revoked. This goes in my Bible theology. I want to watch that later. Book of Revelations is unfolding today. Here's your guide. An hour and 40 minutes. Free flexible fish fillet. Nice. Ooh. Oh, okay. But
What's up, guys? It's Benny. An absolutely insane update out of Mexico. Now it looks like they are setting the border on fire with the United States of America, effectively closing the U.S. border with Mexico. This is amazing. Okay, where can I politically support the cartels? If they are the ones who can finally close the border with Mexico, all right, now we're talking. Whatever. I'm making a joke here. This is terrible. They've set a bunch of cars on fire. They're setting cars on fire all throughout Mexico in order to try and shut down entire states, traffic, commerce, and the capacity for people to flee or to get out of the country and get into America where they don't have, well, yet operational control. And this is something that is horrifying. It's affecting the border states for sure. And many people are very nervous about this cartel war stretching into the United States of America. This is obviously a chief concern. It's a concern because, well, Mexico has been a cartel state, is a cartel state, is not a real place. And President Sheinbaum, who just had like massive protests outside of the presidential palace and the government buildings in Mexico City, where hundreds of thousands of people protested her cartel rule of the narco state. Trump's been on this, baby. Trump announced a U.S. land strikes on drug cartels in Mexico will happen soon, saying that effectively no one is safe if you are narking drugs into America. Trump previously warned Mexican President Claudia Scheinbaum to get her act together in the aftermath of the capture of Maduro. Something remarkable just happened on Fox News where Claudia Scheinbaum was just exposed, and it's insane. Cartel violence being allowed in Mexico because Scheinbaum works for the cartels. A senator from Mexico went on Fox News and exposed it all. The president of Mexico works for the cartels. She was funded by money from the cartels. Not just the president, there's an entire group of Mexican politicians labeled narco politicians. Mexico is a narco state. Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between the Mexican government and the cartels. And her entire party affiliation is financed by the cartels. The president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, doesn't want this information getting out. Yikes. Once they get elected, the deal is for the Mexican government to protect the cartels. Mexicans and the politicians who are paid off by the cartels don't want Donald Trump to help. Mexican senators exposing all of this after being threatened with prison for speaking out. The president has threatened me to proceed help to get elected. The deal is for the Mexican government to protect the cartels. Mexicans and the politicians who are paid off by the cartels don't want Donald Trump to help. Mexican senators exposing all of this after being threatened with prison for speaking out. The president has threatened me to proceed against me in criminal prosecution. This is wild. There have been obviously assassinations of mayors and various other members of the Mexican elites who have stood up against Claudia Sheinbaum. It is terrifying that this is happening across our border. Ladies and gentlemen, the interview, here we go. So let's start off with this Mexican senator effectively queuing all of this up.
The president of Mexico is furious. She's calling Mexican Senator Lili Tellez a traitor for coming on Fox Noticias with me a few days ago and saying this. Listen.
The help from the United States to fight the cartels in Mexico is absolutely welcome, and that is how the majority of Mexicans feel. The only ones who don't like that President Trump is sending help and trying to support Mexicans against the cartels are the narco politicians. That includes President Sheinbaum.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum responding, saying, quote, "It's not a minor issue that a senator gave an interview to a foreign media outlet calling for intervention." Here to discuss is that Mexican Senator Lili Tellez. Senator Tellez, welcome to Fox Noticias. I'm just going to get right to it. Is Mexico a narco state?
Yes, it is. And we all Mexicans know about it. And Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between the Mexican government and the cartels that have infested our nation.
Can you explain this alliance between the president, her party, the Morena party, and the cartels?
Yes, the party has financed, has given, the cartels have given so much money to these politicians, narco politicians of Morena, to get into office, to get the power. So they protect the Mexican government protects the cartels. That is why President Sheinbaum doesn't want the strong American leadership to help Mexico defeat the cartels. And also Sheinbaum doesn't want the rest of the world to know what is happening here in Mexico. We are on the steps to be the next Venezuela. She is aligned with Venezuela's dictator, with Cuba, and we are losing our country. They have destroyed our Republican institutions, the democratic state, and we must, I think we all Mexicans want and welcome the support of the United States to assist Mexican people against the cartels that have us all in this crisis with the traffic in fentanyl and migrants.
Okay, so that's the setup. Lili Tellez, then it goes hard in on Sheinbaum, explaining exactly how corrupt the entire system is. Check this out.
Mexico is a very dangerous place.
Well, that brings me to my next question, because you are speaking very bluntly, very clearly about Mexico being a narco state and the alliance and the connections to the president of Mexico. Are you afraid for your life?
Yes, I am afraid. And the president has threatened me to proceed against me with criminal prosecution, to get me out of the Senate and get me in jail just because I told you in this space and Fox News what is the reality of our country with the cartels. The cartels are dominating everything here in Mexico. They are in all the offices of the government, in the states, in the cities, and in the national government. So, of course, I am afraid, but I want people to know I will not step back. And I pray under God's guidance that we, the United States and Mexico, must work together to defeat the cartels and to get freedom for our country, for Mexico, to stop it from being the next Venezuela.
This rings true. This rings true because Claudia Sheinbaum, like this clip is now going viral across my feed. Look at this. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum is using force against cartel. Using force against the cartels violates their civil rights. Any talk of engaging in a war with the cartels is a right-wing talking point fueled by fascism. Isn't that amazing? That's the word they always use. This is how Democrats allowed, this is who Democrats allowed in our country, 4 years of open borders. This is actually one of the most insane things I have ever heard.
No es opción.
Yeah. It is violating their constitutional rights, their human rights to attack drug traffickers, rapists, and cartel members and human smugglers and drug smugglers. The cartels run Mexico, not this lady. There's no question that she's a plant. The question is, by which cartel? Mexico today. Yikes. President Trump, once again, we're going to start hitting the land with regard to the cartels. We're going to start hitting Mexico. And Trump has often warned Claudia Sheinbaum. Was this operation a message to Claudia Sheinbaum? She's not running Mexico. The cartels are running Mexico. Something is going to have to be done with Sheinbaum. Trump administration is planning new mission in Mexico against the cartels, former U.S. officials say. I'm not a criminal. The Mexican politician suspected of being in bed with the cartels. Oh, okay. I'm not a criminal. Yeah. It would violate their human rights to take out the cartels. This is what we're fighting. This is the ideology that we are fighting, and we have to win. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.
That one could be closed.
And here we are. We are going up against Iranian F4s, F-14s, and MiG-29.
Oh, I missed his live stream, I guess.
Yo, what's up, team? Hope everybody's doing great. I wanted to do a live, come to everybody and just kind of catch up. A lot of crazy things going on right now. Obviously, tensions around the globe higher than we've seen in a long time. But I wanted to do these lives once a week. Eventually, they'll be in the Max Ready room. I'm building a full new studio for the lives. So I want to start here by giving this access to everybody, giving everybody the opportunity to come into the lives. But then eventually they will go into the Max Ready room, probably in the next couple weeks. But I'm building the studio right now. So good to see everybody here. We got Tim, we got Cypher, first, last, D-Stew, an OG. Love it, guys. I really appreciate all the support as well. Just throwing that out there. Doing these daily videos to me is something I'm really passionate about. I look forward.
All right, I watched that.
I spent a full year living with Yarbo, mowing grass, cleaning snow, and dealing with fall cleanup. And today I'm going to give you an honest, no bullshit review. I've owned my Yarbo since December of 2024. I actually started with a snowblower first, then I moved to the lawn mower, and then the leaf blower as the seasons changed. I also have the new weed trimmer on order, which I'm still waiting on, so I'll touch on that later. The reasons I wanted an all-in-one outdoor robot is pretty simple. I travel a lot for work. I wanted a way to keep up with the lawn care and snow removal without hiring somebody or without coming home to a complete disaster. At this point, I've used Yarbo in summer, fall, and the winter, so this isn't a first week or first month review. This is real ownership, real maintenance, real failures, and real wins. Before buying, my biggest skepticism was the technology itself. It took years before robot vacuums became reliable, and outdoor environments are vastly more complex. Different yard layouts, slopes, snow types, lighting conditions, and because of that, I knew that there would be gaps between AI promises and real-world performance. The biggest promise Yarbo made that I wanted to test was autonomy. Could I actually rely on this thing when I wasn't home? For anyone new to Yarbo, this is a modular robotic platform. Instead of buying separate machines, you have a single robotic core and swappable attachments. Mower, snowblower, leaf blower, also comes with a plow blade, and now they even have weed trimmers. What really made Yarbo stand out to me is simple. There's no other autonomous snowblower in the market, especially living in Minnesota. On top of that, I have a large property and a long driveway, and I needed something with real power. Most robot mowers on the market just weren't designed for that kind of workload. Let's talk setup, because expectations matter. From unboxing to fully operational, setup took me about 3 hours or so. About 30 minutes of that was just unboxing. These things are heavy, well-packed machines. The time included assembling the core unit, assembling each of the modules, installing the RTK antenna on my shed, installing the charging dock, and mapping the yard in the driveway. Mapping itself is pretty straightforward, but I strongly recommend using the included controller instead of just your phone. You'll get much better boundary precision. One of the biggest pieces of advice I can give is this: do not try to map your entire property as one giant area. You'll be tempted. Fight the urge. Break your property into multiple map zones. My yard grows at different rates. I mow my front and side yards almost every day. My backyard only about once a week. Battery life is another reason this matters. If your property is too large for a single charge, breaking areas up lets you prioritize what gets done first. This is especially important for snow blowing. You can clear walkways and parts of the driveway you need to drive on first, then let it handle secondary areas later. The same logic applies to leaf blowing, which eats battery faster than the mower does. Just make sure you follow Yarbo's instructions when linking map zones together. If you don't, it won't think that there's a path between the areas and won't operate correctly. As for the app, Yarbo continues to make improvements. The layout hasn't changed much, but features keep getting added. One thing I really want next is the ability to view the cameras while controlling Yarbo from the app. Right now, I actually rely on my Ring cameras around the exterior of my house when Yarbo gets stuck or needs some intervention. Was setup easier or harder than expected? Honestly, that's a tough question. This is not a take it out of the box and use it product. Assembly wasn't difficult, but the units are heavy and you'll likely need to get some help. One warning for new buyers: Yarbo is still in a developmental phase. They continue to improve things, but parts will break, repairs will be needed, and downtime happens. This is not the point where you get rid of your traditional mower or snowblower just yet. You still need some backups. That said, firmware updates, RTK, GPS reliability, and camera vision have all noticeably been improved over the last year. Updates seem to land about once a month. I'm currently using the mower module with razor blades, similar to most robot mowers. This is not designed to cut down a yard that hasn't been touched in weeks, at least not in one pass. I intentionally tested this on an extremely overgrown yard. With fresh blades, it took about 6 passes to get grass fully under control. This mower is meant to maintain a lawn, and when it's used daily or even close to daily, it does that extremely well. Yarbo actually released and is shipping a Pro mower module with full mulching blades, which should help with thicker grass and also with leaf mulching. I'm hoping to test that soon. They've also added software updates that gradually lower the cutting height each pass, which is great if you're dealing with taller grass and don't want to stress the mower. Reliability-wise, the mower module itself was solid. My biggest issue came with the core unit. The robot currently cannot measure height. That means if something slightly overhangs into the yard, a car, a trailer, or even a neighbor's vehicle, Yarbo will attempt to go underneath it. This caused a lot of cosmetic damage to both the mower module and the core, and it broke RTK and halo antennas multiple times. Yarbo was great about sending replacement parts, but downtime is downtime. This is honestly one of the biggest design flaws right now. They announced a new M series with LiDAR at CES, which should fix this. I really hope that LiDAR makes its way into the larger units as well, because I'm not convinced that it can be solved purely with software. Edge handling is adjustable, but you need to change that at setting manually. Otherwise, Yarbo stays about 6 inches back from the edge of the property, which means trimming is still required. I ordered the new trimmer specifically to see if this helps. Haven't received it yet. Terrain performance has been excellent. It's a tracked system, and I have large hills with no issues at all. One caution, tracks can damage grass in wet conditions, so you want to disable the 0-point turns and use the rain sensors for heavy rain. Maintenance is about what you would expect. You want to change your blades like every 3 to 4 weeks, and then cleaning the deck and the tracks around the same time. Changing blades is a bit cumbersome because you have to tilt the 125-pound robot on its side. I really wish there was an easier access without risking antenna damage when you turn it over on its side. Pro tip, you want to buy a power drill and an impact driver with the actual hex bits. It saves a ton of time versus using the tools that Yarbo had sent you with the kit. What surprised me most about how well it handles hills and slopes. What annoyed me at first was the motor noise. It sounds like a Barbie Jeep. I've grown used to it, and it sounds like future models will improve this. What still isn't perfect? I would say the vision and the obstacle avoidance, especially vertical detection. On to winter performance. This is where Yarbo really separates itself. The unit weighs about 125 pounds, but like any snowblower, starting early in the snowfall matters, especially if you don't have to be outside doing it. Don't let the snow pile up if you can avoid it. Snow type does matter. Wet or slushy snow is difficult for any auger-based blower. This is where the plow blade attachment really shines. My podcast host, Brandon, has one, and it performs much better in these conditions. Traction's been solid. There's a dedicated set of studded snow tracks, and performance varies with snow and ice conditions, but for its size, I feel like it does a good job. Cold weather reliability has been excellent. I live in Minnesota, and I've never had a cold-related failure. Battery warms on the dock, the chute moves to prevent freezing, and the cameras are heated. I still grab a manual shovel and blower for small steps and narrow walkways. As for failures, Yarbo has replaced my snowblower module twice under warranty, once due to impact damage near the auger, and once due to an electrical motor failure. Shear pins are consumables, so make sure you stock up. Moving on to the fall, the leaf blower module is honestly a great companion tool. The logic behind how it works is excellent, and it makes fall cleanup far easier. Battery life is the biggest limitation. I would say it's around 25 minutes per charge. This isn't something that you want to wait until the leaves pile up either, as you'll see that the vision can be blocked and it thinks that it's running into an obstacle. It's loud like any leaf blower, and night operation isn't great. The vision system sometimes sees ghost obstacles in low light situations. This doesn't replace manual cleanup. Yarbo moves leaves where you want them, but you'll still have to collect and dispose of them. In my situation, I blow all the leaves down by the road, and then I actually hire a company to come with a giant vacuum and vacuum them all up. So it works out pretty good. That said, it'd save me a ton of time. Next fall, I'll start cleanup earlier instead of waiting for piles to form. One of the downsides is taking off the lawnmower module and then putting on the leaf blower module. Hence why I waited, but this next season I won't. Living with Yarbo long-term, you'll need space to store the modules, and I recommend buying the Yarbo covers from them directly. Wireless charging has been flawless. Any charging issues I had were due to the broken antennas, not the dock. I would say maintenance takes more time than a traditional piece of equipment, but I spend less total time doing yard work overall. Reliability gets an 8 out of 10. My biggest frustration is parts fulfillment speed. When something breaks, you're down until that part arrives. So in the wintertime, you have snow buildup, or in the summertime, your lawn becomes overgrown. Day-to-day ownership is honestly super enjoyable. People stop and watch it work, ask me lots of questions. I love being inside while it works, especially when I'm traveling. The best set it and forget it moment for me is the snow forecast automation. I can wake up after a snowfall and the driveway was already cleared. Yarbo is ideal for large properties. I have about 2.5 acres and a long driveway. This feels like the sweet spot. Smaller yards may find it as overkill, which is why the mini series makes sense. You should be comfortable learning, maintaining, and fixing things. I'd recommend Yarbo to tech-savvy homeowners with busy lives who don't want to hire yard services. If you don't like maintenance or troubleshooting, I would skip it for now. So on to my biggest wins and my biggest frustrations. The biggest wins for me, I would say, are the true all-weather versatility, huge time savings, the cool factor, and then also just really great customer service and support. My biggest frustrations would just have to be parts fulfillment time, the vertical obstacle detection, and then just overall software bugs as they do updates. In my opinion, a second version becomes a no-brainer with better vision, LiDAR, and then continued software refinement. Would I buy this again? Absolutely. With all the improvements since I bought mine, new buyers are getting a more refined machine & Company. It replaced my mower and my snowblower. Leaf cleanup still needs help. Year 2 will focus on the Pro Mower module, the weed trimmer, software improvements, and then also testing the new M series. I'll drop some affiliate links and Yarbo's website down in the description if you want specs. Feel free to drop questions and I'll answer them from real.
$7,000 for all those. The new one? The adjustable height controller. Blower, lawnmower, snowblower. Sheesh. It's not cheap. I was expecting them to have their own personal site, though. That's the blower. The blower and the mower. I mean, it's only straight $800 for the 4-in-1. That's cool. Crazy expensive, but cool.
How you doing tonight? Good. Do you disagree with one of the...
Cause UK leftists meltdown over Trump Epstein by just asking for evidence. Yeah, true.
Did you learn Chinese at the same time as English? Like, what
No,
was your journey
first.
learning Chinese?
No, I Chinese first because my parents thought that it.
Okay, I thought that was going to be cooler.
I'm a scholar of the far
This was
right
short.
who has fled the United
This is
States
funny.
to Canada, and I need help.
Abe, I've got a master class in dumb libtard lefty lesbians over here who are completely out of touch despite being a self-proclaimed far-right scholar. Oh, that's interesting. Big brain, Abe. Big brain. Well, what happened over here? Well, this far-right scholar had to flee the U.S. because everybody knows that the U.S. is on a rampage right now, murdering and throwing into concentration camps the Blicks, the Browns, the gays. And this genius over here is going to hop on that underground Rainbow Railroad and escape this fascism. Where, by the way, wait, you're definitely going to go to Mexico, right? Because white people suck, America sucks. That's how we got into this problem. White supremacy, right? So definitely, no, you're going to go to Canada? Oh, that's weird. That's weird.
I'm a scholar of the far right who has fled the United States to Canada, and I
Refugee.
need help. The situation in Canada is absolutely dire. For Americans who don't know, the housing crisis here is worse than in the United States.
That's hilarious. The far right scholar, Abe, did a whole lot of research on the far right. Not so much the far north to figure out that, no, the place that we need to, again, model our economic system off of, right? Because the Canadians, they've got free health care. Yeah, you wait 24 hours for a nurse. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'll pay for health care over here like a dumb idiot. Yeah, your financial system is way worse than ours. Wowee. You would think that before you packed up your lesbian family, you would, I don't know, look into it. No, too busy monitoring ICE, huh? Monitoring the far right. How'd that work out for you? Well, now this idiot is complaining because they-thems need some handouts. No, that's the problem. That's the problem. Yeah, with the give me grunts, right? Yeah. They break into a place, they provide nothing, and they demand everything. That's kind of the problem that we have here. It's not fascism. It's not authoritarianism that we want the border enforced. It's that typically people who are jumping over the border are erratic numbnuts who are parasites and bring nothing to the table. So you should enforce your border against pieces of trash like this. So now them is on TikTok saying, wow, this is the housing crisis is way worse than Los Angeles. Yeah, you guys should fix that, by the way, Canada. You should fix your housing crisis by inundating yourselves with so much more third world foreigners. That should definitely, and then take some of our American trash too. You can have these idiots. Yeah, there you go. Dump more losers into your country. That'll definitely fix your housing market. Oh, wait, no, that's a bad idea. Wowee. Well, anyway, Canadians, feel free to give her some money. Give her some money, right? You could even give her some crypto, maybe. If you've got today's sponsor, Rumble Wallet. You may have seen the conversations happening online lately. Censorship is back, and it's happening everywhere. Platforms are controlling narratives and pushing the stuff that they want us to see. We got to fight back. And Rumble is the only company that stood the test of time and deserves our support. On one side, Rumble is challenging big tech censorship, but now on the other side, they have introduced something that will give us protection from the big banks shutting us off. Banks can cancel your accounts, freeze our cards, so that's why they've launched Rumble Wallet, a wallet that no one can cancel, and a wallet that supporters can use instantly to tip creators like myself without the middleman taking cuts. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money, not a bank, not a government, not a tech company, not even Rumble can touch it. It's yours and only yours to protect your future and your family. You can use this. You can buy and save digital assets like Bitcoin and Tether Gold in one place. Tether Gold is real gold on the blockchain with ownership of physical gold bars. It's not only a wallet to buy and save, but also to support your favorite creators by easily tipping them with the click of a button. There will be no fees when you tip my channel or others. We actually receive the tip instantly, unlike other platforms where you got to wait for those payouts. Support my show and other creators by clicking the tip button on the Rumble channel. It's wallet.rumble.com, by the way. Download Rumble Wallet today, open an account, and step away from the big banks for good. Wallet.rumble.com, or just use the link in the description box below. Search for Rumble Wallet on the app stores. You can find it there as well. Yeah, I wouldn't be tipping her anything. Here's the tip that I'm going to give you. You're an idiot, and you should do a minimal amount of self-reflection and understand that all of your problems are because you're an idiot. It's not Donald Trump making your life worse. It's not the patriarchy. It's not a straights making you're a dumb moron. Watch this. So this idiot is going to fully acknowledge that I got to flee America because America won't let the LGBTQ show porn to small children, and it's enforcing our border. That's like racism, so I got to flee. That's weird. So you love immigrants.
The cost of living crisis is worse here, especially when you are shut out of the healthcare system, when you can't access any of the resources that Canadians have access to. And that's understandable.
Why?
You know, I'm not a citizen of the country, but
wow. Wow. Well, them has just acknowledged that there's a difference between citizens and aliens. The citizens who are a part of the social contract with the government and they pay taxes, they have access to the healthcare system and benefits because they're citizens, right? And when an alien comes in, they're not given access. Do you know why they're not given access to it, sweetheart? It's because they haven't kicked in. It's because if you have a system where somebody can jump the line, jump into a country at 40-something years old with all of their health problems, and they've never paid taxes, they've never kicked into the healthcare system, then they're going to drain it and explode it. And you're acknowledging this. Hey, it's fine, Canadians, right? Yeah, I know that I'm a foreigner, and I know that I'm an alien, and so I shouldn't deserve to be given your health care and your social net benefits. I shouldn't be getting, welfare, your Canadian welfare. I get all that. Yeah, but you don't get that for this country. That's why we're enforcing our border. You got all these people, they jump over the border, they drop a kid. Now the entire family is going to get snapped.
Yep.
People jump the border, have a kid. Sometimes they jump the border, they don't even need to have a kid, depending on where you're at. Like in California, hey, here's Section 8 housing. Here, jump into our ERs, jump into our public school system. You haven't paid a dime of anything, but eat up all of these resources in our hospital, eat up all of these resources in our schools, eat up all of our Section 8. It's totally fine. No, it's not. It's not. And then when we say that we don't want to do that, you guys, oh, you're racist. Oh, this is how Hitler started. Oh, my God, would you hate brown people? You're fully acknowledging the problem. You're fully acknowledging it. When you go to Canada, they can't just give you free everything. But when all these people break into America, we're supposed to give them free everything. That's stupid. That won't work. That's completely financially untenable. And you acknowledge this. You're acknowledging it when it comes to Canada. But you've just been told that America sucks and America's awful and white people suck. And so when we just enforce the same logic here that we can't have a bunch of people blowing out our social safety nets from third worlds, you go, oh, that's racism. And now I got to flee. She keeps using the word flee, like she's under duress. Like America's not. She went to Canada. She fled to Canada. And now, again, she can't work, by the way. You know why you can't work, right? Because every other country isn't just going to let people come in, get jobs, and undercut the wages of the citizens there. So you're on a visitor visa, so you can't work. You went to a place and you can't work, and you thought it would be fine. You've done zero prep for this because you're a moron. You're a dumb idiot. A dumb lefty idiot. In what world? I couldn't imagine not working for 6 months and be like, oh, well, that'll be fine. I'll just ask everybody around me to give me free stuff. That'll be totally fine. That's a total lefty mentality, and that's why you're a loser. So you broke into Canada. Canada does all the same stuff that we want to do here. Enforce our border, right? We don't want to allow people to jump over the border and then undercut the salaries of American citizens. That's fascism here. She goes to Canada. She goes, oh, no, I totally understand. But she's got a plan, guys. She's got a plan. What's your plan, sweetheart?
There are 2 adults, a cat and a dog. We are looking for more than a room, but 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, for free or below market.
For free. She's like, hey, listen, hey, Canadians, we need some free stuff over here. And like, not just a room, by the way. I mean, it's me. It's my lesbian wife. We've got LGBTQ cats and dogs, by the way. So, I mean, 1 room's not going to work. Sweetheart. Again, this is the mentality of a leftard. You can't afford to live there anymore. You should take a couch. Your lesbian wife, and your 4 dogs, you should be stoked for a sofa recliner. And you're like, well, listen, we can't just have 1 room, by the way. So, I mean, if you got an apartment, right, and not a studio, by the way, all right, we got a shower. We don't do that in front of the dogs, and so we need some privacy. So, I mean, if you got like a 3-bedroom house that we could have, that'd be great. Holy balls, Abe. Oh man, you got a 1-bedroom. You got like you got a spare apartment that we could have. Yeah, that definitely won't impact the housing crisis in Canada. Just giving free apartments to loser lesbian leftards of America. Yeah, that'll. You lefties out there are the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet. It's incredible how stupid you are.
Usually
every
they are.
problem that you have is a consequence of your own making. Incredible. So what's the plan if you can't get that? What's the plan if you can't get that free house? You can't get that free apartment, huh?
Thank you. Checking my messages regularly. I will be paying very close attention to this post. If we can't find housing, we're gonna have to leave. And
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like we're telling everybody else. If you break into our country, you gotta go. You can self-deport, or we can kick you the hell out. And you're fully acknowledging that when it comes to Canada and Canada's rights to do that, and totally oblivious when it comes to our country. Because this country sucks, huh? Don't come back, you stupid cunt. Don't come back. Stay the hell out. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching the video. Check out today's sponsor, Rumble Wallet, and then make way because the salt must flow.
This is the cleanest. Paleontologists have made a spine.
Gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. We're back. I'm looking forward to this one. This is the dinosaur, the new dinosaur. 2 days ago, I think. That's what it said. You discovered a new dinosaur in the Sahara Desert. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Mind-tingling find in the sands of the Sahara Desert. A new species of dinosaur. Now, they've unearthed fossils of a supersized carnivore that lived over 95 million years ago. The team now naming it Spinosaurus mirabilis, Latin for astonishing. The discovery raising as many questions as answers about prehistoric life. And to answer some of those questions...
Marana, I forget what the name is. Hang on.
That lived over 95 million years ago. The team now naming it Spinosaurus mirabilis, Latin.
Spinosaurus mirabilis. Yeah, it's a variant. Meaning there's different stages that they exist. Could have a shorter spine, different teeth, different legs. Could have something different about it. It's still a Spinosaurus.
And for
it's big, it looks like, but it's not. I don't think it's the biggest.
Astonishing.
I mean, I'm just 17 seconds into the video. I don't know much about it, buddy.
The discovery raising as many questions as answers about prehistoric life. And to answer some of those questions, I'm joined by Dr. Paul Serino, paleontologist at the University of Chicago and a National Geographic explorer. Dr. Serino, it is a pleasure to have you. Okay, now you called this the expedition of the century. What made this find so special?
Well, it was an extraordinary expedition. Took a big chance to try and get into the heart of the Sahara by collecting together 20 young people that could take 3 months of their lives off and put together a big armed guard, sort of like our Wild West, and go into the middle of nowhere in the hopes of finding something. And we were guaranteed nothing, except that we had, we'd been to the site, found a tooth and a couple of jaw fragments. And hours after we arrived, we found that what you're looking at is the crest on the top of the skull of this Spinosaur. And we knew we had a Spinosaur. We didn't know if we'd find a lot more of it, but we did.
Wow.
Yeah, it was immediately apparent to us this was a new species because the crest is like nothing we've seen before on any.
What's different about it is the back fin piece. The crest, I guess. What he's calling it. Or maybe it's
dinosaur.
So tell us more about this Spinosaur. I got to know, what exactly do we know right now?
Yeah, it's become, through Jurassic Park, it's become the celebrated dinosaur because we don't have any in North America. But in other parts around the old Mediterranean Ocean, which we used to call a Tethys Ocean, these dinosaurs stalked, and now we're finding in the rivers inland stalked fish, and we were able to ferret out some of the great fish catching abilities of this animal by looking at its jaws. And it was we call it a hell heron because I think it was wading into the waters, scaring any kind of competitors away, and very much a display-oriented animal, but capable of just snatching a lot of large fish out of the riverways and the coastal region. And it's like nothing we've ever seen before. It's the size of T-Rex. It's 40 feet long.
Wow, it's huge. Now, this Spinosaur, it differs from some of the other ones you actually studied. So what sets this one apart?
Yeah, I'll just say, this is what they share. They share this kind of tooth that is straight, curved, no serrations. Looks very different than a T-Rex tooth. The original clues to this site I dug out of the library. A French monograph, you see my middle markings there, gave us a sentence or two about a tooth they found in the center of the Sahara. But then we put together the pieces of the dinosaur. As I walk behind it, it gives you a better idea of the size of this animal. its teeth interlock, the lower ones coming outside the upper ones to snare a slippery fish. If you ever tried to catch a fish with your hands, you'll know what I'm talking about. This is a fishing adaptation only this dinosaur, Spinosaurus, has. But this is what defines the species, the very low snout, and then this incredible crest that extends into the air with a covering, and I'm going to give you just a shot of the covering that we've reconstructed for it. That's the crest right there. Wow. It would have a covering like a live animal in keratin that would extend it a little bit further. It's about 2 feet overall. And so that gives us a couple of clues about this dinosaur, one of which is that it's a land animal. It's inhabiting the margins of oceans, the margins of riverways. It is not a diving marine Loch Ness monster, as some have proposed. This is sort of the coup de grace for that idea. This animal, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near if I was near the shore or on land. It could probably grab anything. It had unbelievable hands with claws, but it was primarily adapted in a way we've never seen for eating fish. And they were big fish. We're actually going to name a 12-foot superfish that we found not far from the dinosaur.
I mean, just to see the teeth as big as your palm is just startling to imagine how big this dinosaur, how big this dinosaur really was. Now, do you think you'll find more dinosaurs in more remote regions, or do you think this is a one-off find?
No, so for your listeners, I mean, first of all, we're in the age of discovery. We're naming more dinosaurs now than we've ever named before. So your kids and their kids, they're going to be in the heyday of dinosaur research. But not only can I tell you we're going to find more, we are going to name a lot more from that site. There are digging raptors you've never seen. There are crocodiles and all sorts of creatures that we have already found in the 50 tons we took from Africa on that legendary expedition. So there's a lot more coming. In fact, it really is a lost world we're going to describe. We've known about T-Rex, Triceratops, the duckbills for a century here in North America because we have excellent beds and because people have been going there for more than a century. We went to the center of the Sahara and found Africa's lost world. It is the last continent you're going to be able to describe immense creatures by the dozen to give us some idea of what was inhabiting that world.
Wow, we cannot wait and see the discoveries you, your team, and other paleontologists around the world uncover for all of us.
They're in the dinosaur finding age basically right now. We're naming more dinosaurs, new dinosaurs than we've ever had before. Research was limited, tools were limited. Easier, not easier, but like there's more funding for it, more people are into finding dinosaurs. I think because Jurassic Park has influenced so many people, like our generation specifically, to go if they find an expedition that wants to go out or whatnot. But yeah. So his heyday for dinosaur discoveries. It's the discovery stage for dinosaurs right now. And they're finding more and more dinosaurs that they're naming, like new names, new dinosaurs, new types, new stock, like new variations. Others that haven't been named. And this was in the Sahara in Africa, so out in the middle of the desert, they found this dinosaur. And they found a couple other creatures with it too, so. He was saying like alligators, like a large 12-foot fish.
Oh.
Well, yeah, the Spinosaurus, this one was, he's saying their teeth interlock. So they're good for fishing, catch fish. Because they like mesh together like this. So it doesn't wiggle its way out. Scavengers and hunters.
Fear of God more into people than Diesel Patch is making them a video about you. Dude, I ain't gonna lie. If I was more Pegasus, I would be shitting myself right now. More Pegasus just got caught. Title of the video. Career over, in parentheses. My God. Let's get it.
I am suing the YouTuber More Pegasus. If you guys haven't heard yet, Pegasus recently uploaded a video titled
The thing is that when Anissa says small dick, I'm not sure if she's talking about his husband or the other countless men that his husband watches her have sex with. So still on the fence, whose dick is small? Still on the fence. It could be any guy, to be honest. Let's keep going here.
Dubs' wife just humiliated him big time. And, you know, it looks like every other More Pegasus video. You got the face of the person Pegasus is talking about. They catch a little title card on the side. And the video being over 30 minutes long for absolutely no reason. But when I decide
it is 36 minutes for a reason. More Peggy has to talk about SpongeBob for 20 minutes and go, froggin', flashbang.
Watch the content itself, I noticed something that was a little bit peculiar. The first thing
was it the gay furry iDubbbz dragon?
I noticed is that Pegasus used one of my YouTube thumbnails to introduce the topic of his video about iDubbbz without giving me any sort of credit, which is fine. Commentary YouTubers stealing thumbnails isn't anything new, but when you progress more into the video, you'll notice that Pegasus downloaded my entire video covering the same topic to use my clips that I gathered myself. How do I know this? Well, here Pegasus inserted a clip that came directly from my video. Notice the zoom in on Ian's dragon model face and the SpongeBob music in the background. All additions from yours truly.
No, not my goat, Peggy.
It seems that Ian has now embraced a new persona identity using a shittily rendered cartoon dragon and talks like he's living in the Middle Ages.
They bring up her husband's military service, calling him a war criminal.
Am I crazy or like, does this make Ian's streams like 10,000 times better? Like, am I crazy here? Like, dude, I think
He's
Ian should
crazy.
stay as the gay furry dragon. That way, everybody knows exactly what they're getting themselves into when they click open his stream. Okay? Because you'd think that being a gay furry dragon is humiliating enough, but his own image reminds everybody that he's also a cuck. Which one's worse? I guess we'll find out.
Pot calling the kettle black.
I actually much prefer his streams like this, bro. He actually made me laugh. I like this.
And then take a look at the clip Pegasus used for the same segment.
Oh, you know, Anissa will divorce him and eventually iDubbbz will get back his brain. I think it's cooked, man. This is iDubbbz himself just being a piece of shit. I know Anissa the imp is off screen, but like, come on, bro. You're a full-grown adult at this point. So then he puts on like his cringe accent.
They bring up her husband's military service, calling him a war criminal. Pot calling the kettle black.
So
delete his whole channel. Yep, call the FBI. I think he needs to be hung, to be honest. We cannot let Mutahar get away with this. No, yep, I will never be watching another video by More Pegasus for the next 6 hours in protest.
It's pretty obvious. Pegasus just took the clips from my video, which...
Get 'em out.
Okay, you know, that's fine. Fair enough. All I did was add music and zoom in edits. Not exactly my content to begin with. However, what really rustled my jimmies was what came next. I created this beautiful creation for my iDubbbz video. I created Anissa the Imp. And this meme offers a visual for Anissa's new character that she is role-playing as, which is an imp. The reason I created this meme is because Anissa embraced this new imp-like character for the iDubbbz VTuber streams, and because she doesn't have a VTuber model of her own, I decided to create one.
Whoa, that's very nice.
Gifted!
The imp is doing it.
How in the fuck did somebody gift Ian 25 gifted subs?
They do that.
That actually pisses me the fuck off. Who in their right mind would be giving that guy their money? Guys, can we get 25 gifted and take it away from Ian? I'll leave it up to you guys.
Little dance that you can't see.
Dance, imp, dance. The imp is dancing.
I'm very proud of this meme. It took me 45 minutes to make. Now, I was already a little on edge when I noticed Pegasus was just straight up stealing shit from my video. But what really crosses the line for me is taking another YouTuber's meme that they created. And that's exactly what Pegasus did.
No, he didn't.
25 gifted.
The imp is doing a little dance that you can't see.
Dance, imp, dance. The imp is dancing.
Oh my God. He actually got caught.
Did.
He just ripped it. Oh my God, I can't believe this. Oh my God. The slop tuber succumbed to the slop and stole from other slop tuber? Oh my God. That's like reacting to a slop tuber. This is unforgivable, man. Is this bad? No, I don't care. That being said, you should report more Pegasus to the authorities immediately.
You can't just take clips from my video with my meme and then pretend it's a meme that you created. And I didn't get any sort of credit whatsoever. Nothing in the video, the description, or even a pinned comment.
I demand satisfaction.
All right, so here's some evidence that this is my meme that I created. So over here within the Pick Monkey software, I have the imp body. Okay, so I edited that into the picture.
Yep.
I'm the one that picked the dank dark basement as the background, and then I found a picture of Anissa right here, and then shaded her head red, and then
should have watermarked it, man. This is fair use, unfortunately.
Put it on top of the imp body.
Is this satire? No, he's heartbroken, man. He's heartbroken.
He truly is sad.
So again,
He truly is
meme,
heartbroken.
Not a meme that more Pegasus created. It is mine. I made it. Now, this isn't the first time a thieving little YouTuber rat has unapologetically stolen one of my memes. In 2018,
Oh my God, we're going back 8 years because someone else stole his meme, bro. There's no way.
Was what you would consider to be a small content creator. I made a very epic joke about the Logan Paul and KSI boxing match. I commented how the host of their little event looked like the very underrated artist, Tech9, and made a playful comparison.
Did you guys see that? They're so ferocious that they're attacking each other before the boxing match. I mean, this shit was getting so violent that they had to be separated by this low-budget Tech9 looking at.
I feel bad, bro, because like you can hear Diesel Patch's like spirit just leave his body, bro. He used to be happy, and now he's dead inside. And this is because more Pegasus ruined his whole life.
Then the now retired YouTuber PewDiePie watched my video and then proceeded to just straight up steal my joke without any credits given to me.
He's an idiot, but he's not hurting anyone. Wow, what a hater. And if it's a problem that he's neutral, this argument is so ridiculous because literally the Tech9 looking guy, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, please don't hurt me either, please.
If PewDiePie had given me...
Bro, honestly, PewDiePie stealing your joke was worse than him saying the N-word. I will no longer be watching his videos. Thank you, Diesel Patches, for letting us know.
...a credit that day. There's no doubt in my mind I would already be at 10 million subs by now.
It's true.
But for now, I'm stuck with a measly following of 1 million people. This absolute piece of shit even commented on my video and threatened to send over the YouTube CEO after me, literally using coercion to get my video deleted. And because I had a smaller audience back then, I just had to sit there and take it. There was nothing I could do. But now that I have money, fame, and women, I can afford a team of...
Is that... Was that Chibi Reviews?
Money, fame, and women.
Chibi did need to get to the gym, and he did. He is working out now. Good. Because that man lost everything. And when you lose everything, you get to the gym and you begin to rebuild. Feeling bad for yourself does nothing.
I can afford a team of lawyers to take down content thieves like more...
hit me up. Apparently, I have 5 lawyers.
Pegasus. There's no doubt about it. I will be taking this fucker to court. I'm going to take every penny that he has. And I know he's going to get destroyed because he once threatened to sue me and it just completely blew up in his face. Almost 2 years ago, Pegasus was upset that during a competition I hosted, he lost his gold medal and I ended up replacing it with a bronze medal. Essentially, he went from first place in the competition to third place. After displaying poor sportsmanship, Pegasus then threatened to sue me. Well, it's been over a year now and I haven't received any sort of legal notification opened or have encountered an individual announcing that I've been served. So it became clear to me this loser bitch was just crying as always. Anyways, I demand that Pegasus sends me 75% of his channel's royalty earnings every month, or I'll destroy him in court. You have 48 hours, pal.
All bark, no bite, Pegasus. All bark, no bite. Hey, I'll be real, man. I think we need to get the authorities involved immediately. Yeah, obviously, if you guys can't tell, this guy's just a fucking shit poster, bro. Hilarious. Anyways, more Pegasus. He's done. It's over. This time for real.
He's cool. I don't know if I'm...
We have here a Muslim migrant in Belgium who confronted a disabled man in front of his own house eating a sandwich.
For the follow, Sylvie.
On Ramadan, he tells him to
Much
go back
appreciated.
inside. I have a lot of thoughts about this. Let's take a...
Moi, je t'ai juste dit pourquoi tu fais pas le Ramadan. Tu es rosa, catholique.
Okay, shut up.
Et t'as un problème? Hein? T'as un problème? Non, il n'y a pas de problème pour ça. Je t'ai juste demandé parce que tu manges, quoi. C'est pourquoi je te demande
A shorter
si tu
monk
fais pas le
clip.
Ramadan. Non. Et t'as dit quoi pour le Ramadan? Hein?
Is this French?
M'en fous. C'est pas ma religion. Mais normalement, quand tu dois manger à l'intérieur, parce que nous, on fait le Ramadan, on ne peut pas te voir. Ouais. On ne doit pas te voir manger, tu vois.
I can get one of those brushes. It might actually help me walk better.
Tu vas aller manger à l'intérieur? Hein? Merci beaucoup. C'est gentil, merci.
This is crazy to me, bro. It's
it's in
crazy to
Belgium.
think to me that in a non-Muslim country, Muslims have now gotten the locals of that country, which happen to be in Belgium in this case, to change course of their own routine, in this case, a disabled man eating a sandwich. I know I'm breaking this down. To respect the fact that it is a holiday in the home, in the land, in the roads, in the establishment, in the society of a country that is not Muslim. It's incomprehensible for me to imagine. And God Saad was recently on Piers Morgan, where he was trying to frame to Piers that we have an increase in radical Islam in places like the UK and the United States. And he made the comparison of like, if we saw more and more Jewish people suddenly coming into the streets, you heard that Moshe was now one of the more common names, becoming very common amongst boys being named in the UK, in America. Suddenly, as a byproduct of that, you now have all these kosher restaurants and new laws. Like, yeah, people would say something, and then they would be like, no, it has nothing to do with Jews. Okay, well, in this case, how are we at a place that in 2026, this is allowed? It's like hard for me to even watch. It's so important too for me to mention to you, this has nothing to do with my issue with Muslims or Islam. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you that this ball is the literal, the DNA, the chemicals, the makeup of every fiber of my being is basketball, which gave me a perspective on the world in different people, faiths, backgrounds, ethnicities, religions, menus, cultures, holidays. I've done it all. My ex-girlfriend's black. Like all my friends, one's family comes from Nigeria, another from Jamaica, another from Haiti. I had a very good friend in high school who's from Pakistan. He's very, very, very religious. I've seen his cousin get married at a mosque. I've broken Ramadan fast with him as an Israeli Jew in their house, as they respected me the way I respected him, inviting him to my house during Passover. Do not get it twisted, yo. This is my shit. Like, this is, like, if there's anyone to talk about this from a nuanced perspective, it's me. This has nothing to do with, I love religion. I love faith. I love watching people observe and pray and connect. I almost cried at a church service in 2025. I literally almost cried during my first church service. I was wearing a yarmulke. They know I'm Jewish. I do not believe in Jesus. It has nothing to do with like, I'm anti-Christian. I just don't believe in Jesus. So we can call it quits there because I'll respect you if you respect me. It's like, so these things get lost in translation, but this isn't okay. Like, how is this okay? No society would be okay with this, especially in a Muslim country. I don't know, yo. Like, is it like is it just normal now? But 20 years ago, if we saw this, God, everybody would be all over it. Everybody would. It comes to show you that people are full of shit when they say that they're sort of tied down to some belief system or ideology. It's not true, because the inconsistencies around it show. The way that we talk about these things, the way that we react to them, it's so different now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Here's a note from me. Here are 4 ways you can help us grow if you believe in our mission. On Buy Me a Coffee and...
Okay, I'm gonna watch this one later. I'm gonna save that to a... What is that? Where should I save it to? Save it to the new stuff. Okay. That's get closed. Yeah, this was just too long for me to do tonight. I'm gonna put this in the debate category. This is just cool new stuff. And I don't really care about the SWAT body cam footage. Yeah, I just don't think it's going to be strikes tonight. William Marshall. That's getting saved to my history playlist. Yeah. More history. Oh, even more history. I like hearing about like Hitler's like weird fascinations with like relics and stuff. Our best look yet at the F-22's new stealth field. Ooh, thank you. That's good. Let's see what Fletcher has to say.
The Gerald Ford just entered the Mediterranean. Here's what that looks like.
Very good.
Okay, so that is a one big ship that has come into the Mediterranean. And we're talking about a narrative war, but there's a very kinetic war that is about to happen. Let's watch an Israeli news report, actually. Let's watch an Israeli news report from Channel 11 about what's happening in Iran and the preparations for war here in the Middle East. Let's take a watch.
מוסדות להשכלה גבוהה בטהרן הפכו היום שוב מוקד של התפרצות מחאה. בשריף ואמיר כביר הגיעו הסטודנטים בבגדים שחורים בניסיון להפוך את פתיחת הסמסטר למפגן כוח נגד המשטר.
Okay, so let's just understand what we're seeing here. We're watching Iranian students loudly, violently, wearing all black and standing up to the regime. Now, just understand what we're talking about. We're talking about their brothers and sisters. 50,000, 60,000, I don't know. Some number were murdered in the streets. This standing in protest, although it's in large groups, it doesn't mean that you're going to be safe. So there's courage that's happening here. There's courage that's happening here. And they're calling death to the dictator, death to the regime. That's what's happening in Iran right now.
באיראן מציינים בימים אלה 40 ימי אבל לנרצחי המחאות.
40 days, they're commemorating 40 days since the great bloodletting in the streets of Iran.
משפחות חוזרות אל בתי העלמין למפגן של זעם במסווה של חגיגה, הילולת מחאה לזכר אלה שלא ישובו עוד.
They're using the 40 days, the mourning period, as also a protest So they're using they're wearing black, and there's it's not just mourning, it's actually a protest movement.
مثل این تورش زیاد ما داریم حالا این پسر منه نه پسر شما هست این پسر ایران زمینه.
Okay, my child is actually a child of Iran, and basically the regime murdered him.
32,000 people were killed over a relatively short period of time.
Wow. So that's Trump saying 32,000. So that's like official numbers, but who knows what the real number is?
They were going to hang 800 2 weeks ago. Hang. And I gave them the word, if you hang one person, even one person, that you're going to be hit right then and there. I wasn't waiting 2 weeks and negotiating. And they gave up the hanging. They didn't hang 837.
Yeah, but they killed 36,000, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. It's like they didn't hang him. Yeah. No, but they shot the people in the streets.
Yeah, they didn't hang them. And also Donald, with all due respect, came and told the Iranians, go to the streets, take names, help us in the way. And I feel that was in some way a bit misleading, because they were thinking, okay, if we come up now, because remember, on the 12-day war, when Israel went and did the miraculous, operation there, the Iranians, they were shocked. They didn't like, whoa. And there was a lot of feeling of missing there. Like, if we would have went to the street then, maybe we would have been able to take down that regime. So now, and sorry, was I?
Yeah, we lost you for a second.
All right.
Then we got you back. Go ahead, say it again.
So exactly. So remember, on the 12-day war, when the Mossad and the IDF did what they did, the Iranian people had this like feeling of miss, because they didn't run to the streets, and they kept thinking, if we would have went to the streets and would have fought for it, maybe would have taken our country back from that wicked Islamic regime. So now comes rounds 2, and they hear Donald Trump saying, not only Israel, now is America. We are with you. Go out, take names. So they felt like, okay, we can't do the same mistake like last time. We need to go. And they went in thousands of numbers, but then it started getting dragged. And now you're having just thousands of people being killed. But what's admirable is seeing that they're still going. These are people, you need to understand, these wicked regimes like the Islamic Republic of Iran, Hezbollah, and all these, other regimes, they don't
stand up from
first of all,
internal
to defend
pressure.
their citizens from utter threats. Their first military focus is, how can we oppress our people and protect the government from their own people? So they're very good at killing their own people. Only when they establish that, now they're safe from the people who might revolt to come and take them down because they're oppressing them. Only then they start focusing outwards. So they're very good at killing their own people. So
that's right.
The people in Iran are extremely, they don't have guns. They're not like in America where people can have guns. People can protect themselves. They have nothing. Literally going in the streets, and they're dying in the most horrific way. And if there was ever a cause that the West should rally behind, Yishai, that would be that. You can still be an anti-Semite and hate the Jews, hate Israel, but stand with Iranians. They're not Semites. They're not Jews. You can still stand with them. So come on, guys. You hate us. Okay, hate us, but at least stand with them. But it's unbelievable.
Right. Well, one of the things that people understand is that somehow, if you support the Iranian people, you're really supporting the fall of the Iranian regime, and the fall of the Iranian regime means you're you're causing the fall of Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and that Israel is going to prosper. Sometimes I think to myself that one of the reasons that so many of the Arab countries are telling Trump not to strike Iran, because they make the calculation that in the end of this, Israel will be stronger, and I don't want Israel to be stronger. That bothers me. And so, I rather, that we face, because don't forget, these other Arab countries also face the scourge of Iran.
And also, Ishai, they're afraid. That's the thing that makes the Muslims in the world fear the most, and people miss that all the time. They're afraid of losing land that is under Islam. Doesn't matter if it's Shia or Sunni right now. And they're seeing that the Iranian people are secular. They want to kick away Islam. So in their head, the outcome here will mean that the Ummah, the Islamic Ummah, will have less land that have Sharia law implemented on it. Same thing with Syria. They were afraid that the Druze will get autonomy, the Christians and others. That means that a land that is under Sharia, the oppression of Sharia, will not be anymore. Same thing with Palestine. Saudi Arabia was all against Palestine. All of a sudden, Donald Trump comes and says, let's buy it. Like, whoa, no. So all of a sudden, they're pro-Palestine because, again, Muslims losing their grab over land. And it's always been the game. They want to conquer the world. And they're not willing to give a piece of land to the Christians or the Jews because that's a big, big loss to their Prophet Muhammad and etc. But I want to ask you a question, Isha. Actually, that's something that I haven't had an answer for. Let's say now we topple the Iranian regime, which I think Israel wants that, America wants that. It's a great thing. But could the Iranian people actually make a better country for themselves? I mean, the Iranian regime now, it's not like there's like 30 really evil people and the rest, like it's using their own people. So they have a lot of pro-Iranian regime people there. So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're capable of actually taking that country and making it better, or is it going to become chaos and mayhem?
You know, I don't know enough about the makeup of Iran. I've never really been there. I've spoken to a lot of people. Some people tell me, experts tell me that it's like 30% are anti-regime, 30% are pro-regime, and 30% want an Islamic state, but that is not as radical and not as harsh, but still want to. That's what I heard from one source. When I had guests on saying that the Iranian people still want some kind of Islamic country, I had lots of Iranian people writing to me saying, you don't know anything, and we want liberty and freedom. I also see that they have this Reza Pahlavi who seems like an amazing person, really, who a lot of people are backing. So I don't really know the answer. Like it's a little, you know what I mean? Like Iran is it has a lot of different peoples in it, different ethnicities. It is on the one hand an ancient country. On the other hand, it's got all these other peoples like, you know, Azeris and other people that are there. And so, you know, it's one of these things where if you ask me about Israel, you ask me about the Arabs in my region, I know a lot about it because I've seen it, I felt it. I feel in general that it's very hard to talk about a country until you're there, until you've seen it for yourself. And the only thing that I've seen is, you know, the show Tehran, and I've also been to Los Angeles, Tehrangeles, but like I don't know enough really to say it. But I trust that the people of Iran are smart, are ancient, and they'll find a way to have a better regime. I think that they regret the 1979 revolution. And I see those students in the streets, and I want to believe, you know, now the one thing I think I would say to you is, let's not make the same mistake that we made in Iraq, thinking that like, let's just go in there, we'll liberate the people, and they'll just work it out magically. No, they're probably going to need some counseling, some helping, maybe some intermediate government that is forced, and then the people will start to get organized, not just to leave it to itself into bloodletting and into you know chaos. Yeah. So I would say that we have to make a plan. But your critique or question and critique is fair. I've heard that from other people as well, saying there doesn't seem to be a very planned out revolution there's not like a government that's waiting to come in. I would ask our friend Meyer Tusi, who came on the show, and you know he's an Iranian guy and he knows the stuff, just like I would ask you about Druze and what they're doing and how they're faring. By the way, how are in short? I want to go to my next guest, but I just want to ask you, Mansour Ashkar, how are the Druze faring? You and I a few months ago were on together. They were being massacred by the Syrian regime. Syrian jihadist ISIS type regime is still there. How are your friends and family and the people that you represent doing?
So they're not doing too well. They're still under siege more than 224 days, if I'm not mistaken. Under siege, cannot leave the mountain. If they go out, they get picked, shot, kidnapped, and murdered. And not only them, but also all the other minorities. As we're speaking, if people haven't noticed, whenever there's a big world catastrophe or event, that's when the Syrian regime chooses to focus on another ethnicity and basically cleanse them. So now the war in Iran, they went on the Kurds. When everybody's eyes on Iran, they went on the Kurds. Before they went on the Druze and the Christians. And
before that, on the Alawites.
On the Alawites, exactly. So every minority, which was the whole idea before, to cleanse Syria from all the non-Muslims. So if you're talking about a real ethnic cleansing that is happening, it's in Syria. Now, what's concerning to most right now, the Druze and the Christians and other minorities in Syria, is seeing how all of a sudden, under the leadership of Tom Barak, America have abandoned the Kurds, which were their allies on the ground, and went and sided with ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And then they went and killed the Kurds and released all the prisoners from the jails, like literally released ISIS prisoners with Syrian soldiers wearing ISIS patches, and did that with the support of America, because Tom Barak went in with a clear statement, even we are now with these guys, they're helping us fight ISIS, but they're not. So the people in Syria are seeing that and they're terrified because they're like, wow, next round is going to come again. And it looks like they managed to actually fool the Americans to believe that ISIS and Al-Qaeda are the good guys and anyone who's fighting them is the bad guys, which is something unheard of. And the average American doesn't even know about that.
Yep.
You know, here, you want to hear a crazy conspiracy one? That's a good one, actually. So Kurdish soldiers who are fighting with America to defeat ISIS, who are backed up and trained by the US, and they received US equipment that had a dead man switch in it, which means if it ever falls into the hands of ISIS, America had the power to stop that equipment from working, from rocket launchers all the way to armored vehicles and etc. Some Kurdish reports are saying that these weapons and technology stopped working when ISIS and Al-Qaeda came to attack them, because the Kurds were the strongest army in Syria, the strongest, and they were taken down in 2 days. Unbelievable, like completely. So some of them are saying, did America shut the switch on us? What happened here? Or the Turks got permission from the Americans, tell them, listen, shut the switch, we're gonna go fight ISIS. So they sold them this kind of lie, and America said, okay. Tom Barak convinced the US, listen guys, and Tom Barak is very, very invested. I call Tom Barak the Arab Epstein of the Arab world. If you see the level of corruption that he is in it, when it comes to Arab elites in the Middle East, is insane. He was investigated by the DOJ for that exactly, for being an agent for these countries. And he was also on the Epstein file. And he's right now leading this thing that is devastating, catastrophic for Israel, for the Middle East, for all the minorities, which is empowering Turkey and the jihad in Syria to come and be the strong force that takes Syria and bring again an October 7th threat into our borders. They also want to put them in Gaza.
Mansour, I'm going to ask you to send me some more information, videos or articles on this. I need to know more about this. I feel like I don't know enough about it, and I'm going to read about it and then have you on again to discuss what's really going on. I don't like to be, outside of the know, and I don't know everything you're talking about. And you know what? Again, it's this moment where I say Israel has a chance to empower the Druze, empower the Kurds, empower others, make them part of the satellites, arm them, train them, give them independence, and help create a kind of puzzle of the Middle East of anti-jihad, pro-liberty, pro-peace folks that are united in a kind of belt that pushes back on jihadism. That's not what's happening. That's not what we're seeing. Mansour, I want to thank you so much for being with us. You're an Israeli Druze, a father, former IDF Special Forces officer. You live abroad, you're a YouTuber, and you're out in Oregon shooting guns with friends. I hope you enjoy the time there, and wish you lots of blessings. Thank you so much for coming on such short notice. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Shad. The pleasure is mine.
Yeah, I like those two.
All right, welcome to a very special episode. You guys recognize our good friend Sal Mercogliano, the host.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping to hear something tonight. What time is it in Iran? Yeah, not tonight. Tomorrow night. Over the weekend, maybe. Love these carpet cleaning videos. They're the best. lower. Yes, please. That's not a joke. Dan Lindo says Trump is not kidding around about this. Oh, yeah, I got the works. 6-Day War. Let's make documentary for sleep. Yellowstone, The Sleeping Monster. Which I heard that's a fairy tale. BAFTA awards were a mess, and Serrando's ooh, Mexican-American War. Save to playlist. I already have it. Fairies weren't what you think. The dark truth behind British and Irish folktales. That's going in my mythology folder. I like having these playlists. Song Pikers the villain. Halo, most detailed breakdown. What? That looks cool. Mega Man fan film. Okay. Yeah, I'll probably call it on the stream here. My Lekites. People who needed to be destroyed. Yeah. By his stream. So many good things. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna call it on the stream. I appreciate everybody that came out and watched, and hopefully we can be back at it again tomorrow. But call it for the night. Yeah, 3.5 hours. That sounds good. Thank you, everybody. God bless, and have a great night.